This is the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. It's your host, Micah, and we're back once again with a weekly review. We did have some technical issues last week, but hopefully everything will go over this week. And once again, we're both ready to get Scoop Slammed. I'm always joined by my host. He's the man of the hour, the man with a plan. He waited 4 hours for popcorn one time, and he won't be repackaged in a gimp suit. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, ready to be Scoop Slam? We took 2 weeks off. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. It was a pretty interesting weekend wrestling, a lot of changes going around. The week started hot and we kind of fizzled out towards the end, but we'll definitely get to that. If you've never watched a weekly review with us before, we're going to hit all the major programmings: Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. I do want to throw in, we did notice that Battle of the Belts was this weekend. That will be on next week's weekly review, as we'll go over that at the top of the show. It kind of caught us off guard, so we're sorry about that, but just look forward to that next week, and then we'll again be back with Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. But as always, we'll start with the scoops of the week. So I got a few for you, Ryan. This week, I want to go over AEW reworking talent relations and Madison Rayne joining to help with the women's division. What do you think about that?
Madison Rayne, has she been? I think she's worked with Impact backstage, but I haven't watched enough Impact to know what her presence, like in booking the women's division, was in Impact. So I mean, I'll give it a chance. I saw her wrestle on, what was that, Rampage? Or I think it was Rampage. It was pretty, it was pretty underwhelming. And it looked like they're setting her up with a Jade feud. So is she going to be booking and wrestling? Is that what it is? Is she like consultant? What's going on?
I believe she is a producer. I'm going to run down the official press release that they gave out real quick, and then we can talk a little more in depth about it. So this was August 3rd, 2022, which was Wednesday before Dynamite. AEW CEO, GM, and head of creative Tony Khan announced an expansion to AEW's talent relations team with promotions of key staff members Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, and Tony Schiavone. And in addition, Madison Rayne will join AEW as a coach in the women's division. Sanjay Dutt has been promoted to Vice President of Production and Creative Coordination. He will coordinate the communication of the storylines, liaise between post-production, and key staff to maintain content workflow. QT Marshall has been promoted to Vice President of Show and Creative Coordination.
Why? What is it? Why? Why does he get that role?
I mean, maybe because he's there. Well, he is
man.
the coach at the Nightmare Factory, so he at least knows something. I'll give him that.
Does he?
It's not the worst hire they have.
That sounds like a made-up position, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep
on. He will be planning programs and storylines, character development, overseeing extras, and live event logistics coordination. Pat Buck has been promoted to Vice President of Talent Development. In this position, he will liaise with talent and production, oversee all coaches, provide input on matches and promos, and lead the talent relations team. Tony Schiavone is senior producer and special advisor to talent. We're just going to skip over that one. And Madison Rayne will join AEW as a coach in the women's division and kick off her new role tonight. This was the night of Wednesday. So she was going to kick off her new role in her hometown of Columbus, Ohio. So I guess she's just... Oh, well, let me throw this in there too. Christopher Daniels is manager of talent relations now, and they will remain in close contact with AEW's legal and talent resources team. So,
well, he's been getting a lot of heat from people online about his talent relations skills. I wonder, like, what's William Regal doing there? You got William Regal there. Wouldn't you, if you were booking the territory, Micah, wouldn't you put a guy like Regal in a prominent role over QT Marshall? I don't know. Sounds a little weird.
I would, me personally, maybe Tony's reached out to him, and Regal just doesn't want that kind of responsibility anymore as he has aged a little bit. And really, I don't know how much longer he sees himself in the business. Now, would it hurt to ask? I don't know. I would at least ask, but that's saying, I mean, maybe he did and I don't know it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he made his way back to WWE, honestly.
It depends on the contract he signed.
But we see what Triple H is doing, man. We see what Triple H is doing. He's putting all his old NXT guys back into place. I can see Regal making his way back.
I think if Regal never got signed to AEW, 100% he would be back there. I don't know that Tony's going to let somebody like that just slip through his fingers unless Regal's just so unhappy, he just wants out of there. But right now, Regal seems pretty content, at least on TV and on any social media I see. But, I think this press release and them adding her has been in response to, two things. One, the releases of guys like Joey Janela, Marco Stunt. Who just got released?
Gresham, is Gresham released?
Gresham. Yes, that was it. Or he at least asked for his release.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone technically.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually gone, but that was the big case recently of talent relations mishandling talent.
And Swole too.
And
Swole.
And Big Swole. And so I think this is a response to that. I also think Madison Rayne coming in is a response to Kenny Omega's booking of the women's division and people's criticism of that. Now, some people love it, some people don't. We did hear Tony Khan say on Busted Open that he listens to Cornette and he listens to the things that Cornette has to say. Obviously,
that's pretty funny because Cornette trashes him so much.
Well, he does trash him a lot, but at the same time, look, it's like Dax said, look at the experience he has. You could at least hear the man out. If he's wrong, he's wrong, but a lot of cases he could be right, and then, maybe it's something you should at least hear out other opinions. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta hear out the room. But, Madison Rayne, let's see what she does. I give her a chance. I was a fan of her song when she was in TNA, but that's about it.
I don't even remember it, to be honest with you.
Jeez, you don't remember that song? It was a bop, man. I have to send that link to you later.
Nah, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I think it can't hurt. I guess it's somebody else to aid Tony, and I think as their business keeps growing, and with him doing Ring of Honor,
and then the Jags season starts in a couple weeks. They're going 1-16 this year, so this place gonna be full.
Yeah, it's smart for him to delegate. I like Pat Buck. I like that signing. I'm fine with Sanjay Dutt. I'm fine with Madison Rayne, QT and Shivani.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Let me ask you, what do you think about her starting a feud with Jade, like on her first night? What do you think about that?
Two things. One, I think Madison has enough experience that she could lead Jade, and Jade could learn a few things from her. Even if Madison is not, a Becky Lynch or a Charlotte, she's still got the experience. Two, who else do they have?
That's an AEW thing. Like, they had time to build up people.
They just don't have anybody to take the belt off of Jade right now that I see.
What's Athena doing? What's she doing?
I think they're saving that for All Out.
Why do they save all this stuff, man? Build up I don't know. Never mind. Just we're getting off topic. Madison Rayne, positive for the company.
Yeah, we'll touch on that when we get to Dynamite, but I definitely agree with you. They do these little hot 2-week feuds like this thing with Wardlow and Jay Lethal, and then, he's going to go on and have a feud it all out. And it's like, why can't we get some decent feuds going into Battle of the Belts that make me want to tune in and watch it? Or at least, shoot, they might lose the belt. But if we look at the Battle of the Belts card, Wardlow versus Jay Lethal, Wardlow's going to win. Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter, Thunder Rosa's going to win. Claudio versus Takeshita, Claudio's going to win. Even my wife was like, if they're doing all this, building it up, and it's named Battle of the Belts, and nobody loses the belt, like, what's the point?
Okay, so I'm in favor of it being predictable as long as it makes sense and is entertaining. But I don't know, man. It's just not, like Cesaro and Takeshita. When did they build that up? They just announced it on Wednesday and it happened.
Yeah.
The Thunder Rosa hater stuff. Have they been building down TV? Because I'll be skipping the women's matches. Have they been building down TV?
They at least have for the past few weeks with backstage segments, and then this Wednesday night they had a tag team match, Britt and
Oh, okay.
Hayter versus Thunderstorm. So that one okay, but like the Lethal Wardlow thing has like a 1 week build, and then the Claudio Takeshita match has nothing. It's just a good
It was a
match.
good
I mean,
wrestling match, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. We'll move on and we'll talk about
Yeah.
it next week with Battle of the Belts. But I understand predictability, but give me something that I have to see on that show. I've got to watch that show for that reason.
And the fact that it was taped, you knew that, like, okay, if anything crazy does happen, I'm gonna hear about it beforehand. They should have aired that live and maybe tape Rampage because nobody's gonna watch Rampage, man. Why not have a
Yeah,
live Battle of the Belts?
I agree, but what are you gonna put it with?
Hmm. It's supposed to be
Well,
their like. It's supposed to be a special though. I mean, how's it special if you already know what's gonna happen?
no, that's my gripe. Well, we'll move on. We'll talk more about this when we get to Battle of the Belts next week. But I got two more scoops for you, or at least points of discussion. I had one, but we'll get to that a little later on in one of the shows because it turned from a
Oh,
scoop to a reality.
cliffhanger,
Next up,
cliffhanger. I like that.
yes, sir. Next up, we have a rumor coming out from Wrestling News Co. And that tweet is sourced to them, but this tweet is from @WrestleOps on Twitter. An agreement has been reached for Sasha Banks and Naomi to return to WWE. Do you think this is true? Are you excited? How do you feel?
I'm buying into it. The fact that they announced the women's tag team tournament on Friday made me think that okay, they're gonna play a part in this. And they had a lot of women's stuff on the Friday show too. It's been like a new focus in the women's division since Triple H got the book. I'm excited, man. Sasha's a good wrestler. Naomi's a good addition. It's a positive addition, well, re-addition to the roster. And I didn't think they were gonna come back. I really did think Sasha was gonna get released. But Triple H is making some big moves since he got the book.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing, or like you said, a re-signing, or however you want to say that. I think that the new leadership is cause for this, and I do want to make mention that this news came out on Monday, August 1st, and then the tag team tournament got announced on SmackDown, and that kind of confirmed it to me personally, at least in my mind, that I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, they're probably coming
yeah,
back.
yeah. Something's about to go down.
It sucks because while I would have liked to seen these two in AEW because it would have helped their division. I mean, they made their name in WWE. Everybody
Yeah.
knows them as WWE stars, and I don't feel like they're going to get lost in the mix with Triple H being here.
They could get lost in the mix with Tony Khan at the helm in AEW. Man, they can't get their women's division right. Having Sasha there, what, she gonna be hot for 3 weeks and then lose to Jade and then we'll never see her again? That's usually how it goes.
I mean, you've got a point.
At least in WWE, they have marquee names that they can face and have feuds that will excite the fans, not backstage segments that leads to a 15-minute popcorn match on Rampage. Who wants to see that?
I agree. However, playing devil's advocate, the last time they were or let me rephrase that. The previous run in WWE for the last few months was stale for them just because I really don't think they need a tag team division for WWE's women. That's just my personal opinions. I don't feel like they have a strong enough tag team. They hardly have a strong enough tag team division for the men's, much less the women's. Now maybe Triple H is going to reinvigorate that. Well, we will have to see 6 months down the line. But at the moment, I think there were more opportunities in AEW for new matchups, new opportunities for new, I guess, things to conquer. Sasha's really been to the top of the mountain. What else can she do in that company? And I know that's
Well, she could have a longer reign. She's never held the title longer than a month. She could have like a really long dominant reign. She never did that.
true. And
And
Naomi,
you know
did she ever win the
they're
title?
not well, yeah, she did a few times. They're
Okay.
replenishing the roster with women's talent too, Micah. So I mean, they have new faces to feud with.
Yeah, I see your point. If
You just a hater. You're just a hater. You wanted them in
no,
AEW. Just admit to it.
I do favor towards AEW. However, I'm not gonna not call them out when they're wrong about things,
Which is a
which
lie.
that has nothing to do with this argument at the moment. But Sasha and them going back last month with Vince in control didn't make any sense. Now it makes a little more sense, and I can understand it. Regardless, whoever picks them up, I don't care if you know Create a Pro got them. It's a good addition to the roster.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I like Sasha. Naomi's cool.
Well, last scoop of the week, and this one's been a hot topic today on Twitter. And well, it stemmed from a video on TikTok that I may have sent you. I may have watched it this morning though. I'm not 100% certain. It was from at infamous opinionist on TikTok. And he posed the question, why does AEW expect so much from their viewers? And he cited mainly the John Moxley Mance Warner match. And he was like, first off, this is a world title eliminator match. We know nothing about Mance Warner, and he's in the world title picture. They showed a 15-second clip of him winning the Bunkhouse Battle Royale, and his issue was basically, why does AEW expect me to go search out who these people are and find out their backstory and find out why they're in these matches? And he basically was along the lines of, I don't have time to just constantly look at the indies and watch indie shows. I got a job, I got 3 kids, I got a fiance. So he was basically just saying, I don't enjoy that they don't give you a pre-tape or something. And, by gum, by golly, everybody on Twitter lost their minds because you can't say anything against AEW or else it ruffles their feathers. They get all pissed off about it. And people were just dogging him. In the time it took you to make this TikTok, you could have looked up who Mance Warner was. You could have watched some matches. It wasn't a world title match. It was just an eliminator match. Just all sorts of things. I mean, they were like dogging him about, oh, well, I don't even know how this guy has a fiance or anything like that. I'm like, dude, he literally just said, hey, AW, maybe run a pre-tape for me every now and then. And this has been one of our biggest gripes. that they just throw people out there for no reason. And it's not going to make me as a viewer tune into Rampage. I know Jon Moxley's going to win that match.
And we are hardcore wrestling fans, Micah. And there's no way we could keep up with the indies to follow all these storylines on Rampage, these one-off wrestlers. Think of it like a TV show. Could you imagine, like on Game of Thrones, just a character getting inserted for one episode, and they tell you nothing about the character. He just shows up, does his thing, and then you never see him again. Like they don't do that on TV shows. Why would you do that in wrestling? It makes no sense. It's never made any sense. A pre-tape of how hard is it to a 30-second pre-tape? That's all you need, or at least build it up for a few weeks. A few weeks, maybe give us time to search out this guy. But no, it was announced what, Monday, Tuesday? When was
No,
that match announced?
Wednesday, and
Wednesday.
for a Friday night match. And this is what I was telling my wife when I was watching it earlier. I said Game of Thrones may be a bad example because it has a giant concurrent story going on. But me personally, I use NCIS. I don't have to know anything about those main characters. I can watch one episode, get my plot point over with like that, and I don't have to watch any more of it, and I just enjoyed that 30 minutes that I watched because I get the story in that time frame. And people are like, this is one of Vince's big things. Wrestling fans are so lazy. They've been spoon-fed everything. Or I saw somebody, you know, it it's not that hard to just look somebody up. They ran a pre-tape on Dark. They ran a pre-tape on Rampage.
What?
Nobody's gonna. First off, for this podcast, me and you both, we watch 3 hours of Raw. If we're, sometimes crunch, we'll watch the hour 30 version on Hulu. 2 hours of Dynamite, 2 hours of SmackDown, and then maybe an hour of Rampage, depending on the show. And that's not including if there's a pay-per-view or a
Oh
special
God,
event. I mean,
jeez.
that right there is 5 to 6 hours, sometimes 8 to 10, depending on a pay-per-view week of wrestling to watch, make notes for, or at least,
That's a whole, bro. That's a whole part-time job. Jesus,
exactly.
8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of wrestling. Are we not supposed to do anything else?
And I completely agree with this guy. This is not going to make me tune into Rampage. It's not spoon feeding me. It's a TV show. Tell me the characters in a short span of time so then I can go, dang, that guy's kind of interesting. I'll tune in on Friday, see what he's like. See, he's got a cool, or people reference the Cody Open challenge that you wouldn't know who these people were. Eddie Kingston came out there and cut a promo like that, and that's all it took for people to get hooked to him. Give me a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
backstory about these people. Tell me about the hard roads you've had to fight on the independent scene and why this opportunity to fight in front of a national television audience is the biggest chance of your career and you're not going to fail. Well, I might buy into that guy. But
Yeah.
to just throw somebody out there and go, oh, well, have Excalibur. Oh, well, he won the Bunkhouse Battle Royale at Ric Flair's last match, and this Friday night he's going to be fighting Jon Moxley in a World Title Eliminator match. Okay. What about that is interesting?
And like, just imagine, Mike, if you're a casual fan, you probably ain't watched since like 2014, and you tune in. You're flipping through the channels. You see Dean Ambrose. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then you see this guy he's wrestling, and they literally tell you nothing about the guy. Like, what? I would be so confused. That's the reason they cannot get over 900,000. They've been stagnant for what, 2 months now at that 900,000 threshold. You can't make new fans. You can't make new fans. You have to be a better viewing experience for the casual fan, because whether the IWC wants to admit it or not, you need the casual fan. You do. You're never gonna get over that threshold if you don't bring in new fans or casual fans. And it's as simple as that. It's always been like that. You need casual viewers.
The hottest period of wrestling had those casual fans. You're not going to bring them back if they're flipping through channels and they see something, and they're like, I don't know these guys. I've never heard of them. They don't look this interesting.
And you look at them, and you look at those guys. I mean, what, Mance Warner? Come on, man. Look
That's
at them.
another thing too. GCW may not be everybody's cup of tea. Maybe I don't want to go watch a death match thing, but you can show me who he is and not show me a death match or something like. I don't even know if he's a death match wrestler. That's a cliche, but I'm saying it doesn't matter who it is. You don't even have to show me any of their matches. Give me a promo. Let him be backstage, cut a minute or two promo, tell me who he is, where he's from. I might buy into that depending on the promo. But this
The fact
just
that he got plugged into the Moxley is the world champion. You cannot plug. He's the world champion, man. He should be wrestling other guys at that level. Bringing in a guy from GCW and putting him against Moxley is not a guy at his level. It's not. I don't care how much Moxley likes the guy. I don't care how much he loves to bleed with the GCW guys. Put him with guys that put him. Why couldn't we put him with a Jay Lethal? Why can't we put him with somebody else, anybody else? Not a guy from a different promotion that nobody knows. It makes no sense. This is your world champion. Treat him like that.
I 100% agree. And it just aggravated me to see these people attacking him on Twitter for you're lazy, you're wanting to be spoon fed. Okay, not everybody is a hardcore wrestling fan. Like there's an even smaller audience of hardcore wrestling fans that are going to search out stuff. You know,
Neckbeards.
yeah, there's a group of people on Twitter or anything like that that if they see something, they'll go, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me check out AEW. I've never heard of them before." And they'll click the page, and then they go, "Oh, okay, Dean Ambrose. I don't know who this guy is. Oh, CM Punk. I don't know who this guy is." I don't know. I mean, I understand it to a point. If you're really big into it, you're gonna search things out, but take my wife, for example, or I even have old friends. They don't care about wrestling, but they know, a Dean Ambrose and The Shield and Roman Reigns and stuff like that. Maybe they came over one night and just wanted to tune in, see whatever's going on, and they would be so lost. Why is he fighting this dude? It leaves so many questions. Why is he fighting him? He's a world champion. Who's that guy? And if I'm just sitting there like, oh, I don't really know. You know what I mean? What does that look like?
it's it's tough. It's tough. They always do it. They've always done that. And you know what? What else bothers me when they use the insider terms? That bothers me too. Because if I'm a casual viewer and they mention somebody like something like I remember Brian Danielson says he came through the heel tunnel or the babyface tunnel. What? If I'm a casual fan, what does that even mean? What are you talking about? Or when MJF calls Tony Khan a mark, come on, man. How do you justify that in kayfabe? How? What does that even mean? Didn't you say your wife was lost when Tony Khan got called a mark on TV?
Yeah, she didn't know what a mark was. And how do you explain that to somebody who doesn't watch? And I mean, my wife has gone to shows before and she likes it. She knows the people to an extent. I mean, she likes CM Punk and MJF, those kind of guys. But to what point, like, how do you explain what a mark is without just hearing it or like just knowing it from being a hardcore wrestling fan? I don't know. It's just stuff like that, like you said, it takes it out.
If anybody can explain it better, tweet us at Scoop Slam Podcast and tell us how to explain what the term mark means.
They'll probably just send us a picture of this podcast. Nah, I'm joking, but we'll move on from this topic. I just thought it would be an interesting talking point because I know it's something me and you have talked about before that they don't cater enough to the casual fan. And I know people are like, those don't exist anymore. 6 million of them existed in the 90s, and most of them don't watch anymore. So where have they gone? I mean, I'm sure some of them have died, but
Oh man, it was more than 6 million, man.
I know.
WCW and WWE were doing like 5 million each. It was like 10, 12 million watching it, really. Where those guys go?
Exactly. But we'll move on to our first programming of the week. This was WWE's Monday Night Raw. This was the August 1st edition of Raw. Do want to make mention that the first hour was commercial free. There was rumors of that before the show, but as I watched, those were true. So we'll start out with the Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch opened up Raw in the ring with an arm sling. And she had a babyface turn at SummerSlam, siding with Bianca and shaking her hand at the end of the match. She said that she finally found herself in defeat, so she is reborn, a new person. She talks about fighting through her separated shoulder that she suffered halfway through the match. And then she makes sure to call Bianca out to congratulate her face to face in front of everybody.
Yeah, she officially turned face in this promo.
Yeah, it was hinted at SummerSlam, but this is what they should have done when she came back. There was no reason to turn her heel, and while she's made great work of it, it's been so forced.
Yeah.
So Bianca came out to a big pop, and Bianca calls her the man, which I guess signals that she's going to go back to her old gimmick, and Becky kind of played into that some too. And Becky tells her to hold down Raw, and she'll be back soon. So I guess we're going to be without Becky for a few months. Maybe a Royal Rumble return?
Possibly. But more injuries, though. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a rough summer. It's been a crazy 2022, and the last half of 2021 was crazy. But this summer has been bad. Just when you thought things were fixing it. Well, things are heating up for WWE, but just when AEW had turned a corner and put some of their titles on their bigger stars, Punk and Wardlow, just like that, everybody and every contender, it feels like, has been gone for months.
And then the total disappearance of MJF is still a very weird situation. Very weird. But we're Becky Lynch.
Yeah, yeah. Bianca talked about how she'd gained respect for and from Becky, and that's what being a champion is really about. And then we randomly pan backstage as Bailey's stable. Do they have an official name yet?
Not yet, but all of them wear jackets, so I assume it had something to do with jackets.
It's just Triple H in 2002. They all got one of each because he was wearing like 20. Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bailey are attacking Becky. And I didn't know if you caught this. I really liked this. The cameraman was not standing there waiting for it to happen. And that both shows and companies are criminal of that. But he had to run like somebody told him, hey, come here, come here, come here, or whatever. And he ran back there and had to hunt down what was going on. And then Bianca ran back there, and she ran back there in heels. I will just say props. And
She was a track star, man.
that's true, but hey man, that takes some real talent. And by the time Bianca gets back there, Bailey's stable had already fled. So what'd you think about this segment as a whole?
I like the chaotic feel of it, like the cameraman not being there. Becky turning face, which was very much needed, and Bailey's new faction starting off with a bang. I'm excited for the direction right now. Maybe Bailey takes the title off Bianca.
I wouldn't hate it. She seems pretty hot right now, and the fans seem to actually have some heat with them. Uh, I enjoyed this segment. I thought it was well done. And the women's division of Raw is getting
It's
pretty
heating up.
interesting right now.
Yeah, it's heating up. It's heating up.
So next up, they announced I won't say a tournament, 2 triple threat matches to determine the number 1 contender of the United States Championship against Bobby Lashley. This I really liked. They ran a package showing, some of the best United States champions of all time. A Booker T. I don't know if MVP was on there, but he is someone who comes to my mind. Goldberg, I think they may have showed. A few guys like that. John Cena, I know, was in there. And it really showed the prestige of the belt. and I think Triple H is trying to rectify some of the mishaps of past leadership.
I like that they did that too. They're treating the U.S. title like the A title on Raw, because you know you're not gonna get Roman on Raw. And the package was well done too. The production is top notch, always and forever in WWE. Doesn't matter what regime is on top. Um, yeah, good package, man. Good package.
Yeah, I really liked it. Like you said, I felt it builds the title up. Their mid card titles have been floating in non existence for a long time, so hopefully this is a step in the right direction. But for the first triple threat, we had AJ Styles versus Mustafa Ali versus The Miz. So, well, I did want to add this too. Just with these triple threats, it adds a chase. It's not just a random feud. Somebody who's lost their last 5 matches isn't like, hey, Bobby, I want a title shot. Like, no, this made sense. These guys fought for it. It was great. Um, this was a solid match. The ending was really cool. How AJ hit his finish. AJ did pick up the win here, and it was back and forth from all the guys. Ali hit a 450 off the top onto the Miz, and as he popped back up after he landed, Styles caught him in a Styles Clash 1, 2, 3, and that was the finish. So AJ Styles is going to move on in this, I guess, mini tournament.
The right outcome, very much the right outcome. And this is probably the best match of the night. The finish was great. I like that AJ's being treated like a big deal.
I really liked who won. I liked the match. It was also my match of Raw. And the only thing I may have liked to see more, we'll get to this a little later, about Ciampa and what it seems like their plans for him are. Maybe if they had put The Miz as the winner here and had those two face off to maybe just insert some seeds there of disarray. I would have been okay with that too, but I do like that they're giving AJ the shot that he is a top dog.
Yeah, he's one of the top guys in the company, and he's been on ice for a while. Ever since he started tagging with Almost, it just seems like AJ he's been kind of underutilized for a while, and I like that he's coming back to prominent position.
And he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Oh,
Not
still,
just
yeah,
WWE, both companies. So I
still.
really hope he gets something going forward. Next up, we had Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai in the back. They're asked about their attack on Becky from earlier in the night, and they say that they're calculated and there's way more to come. Then we see the Usos walk past them, and they're cordial and everything, with no hateful nature about them. And the Usos say they've had a great weekend at SummerSlam, and they're going to continue that with a great victory tonight over the Mysterios in the tag team title match. Uh, and that would be the main event of the night, the Usos versus the Mysterios for both tag team titles.
I like when they intertwine stories like that, like the Usos walking past Bailey's group. I like when they do that.
Yeah, it makes it feel like a
I, I don't like when
backstage.
they, yeah. I don't like when they isolate people from other people. You know, let them interact with people.
Feels like a locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, next up, so this was when the show. I'm not gonna say it dipped, but I just don't care for Seth Rollins. But he was in
Mm.
the ring and he dogged out Riddle, saying that it takes guts to come out there at SummerSlam when he's not cleared. But now he can join Randy on the injury reserves. And he says that he's turning his focus towards the tribal chief, and then the Street Profits interrupt. Seth tells them they should just break up and leave him to this airspace he has right now. It's his time. They're nowhere near his level. The Profits tease him about losing to Cody 3 times in a row. And Seth kind of then dogged them about how many times they've lost to the Usos. So then the Profits are going to do rock, paper, scissors to determine who's going to face Seth. And Montez just grabs a referee and runs to the ring before they can even start the rock, paper, scissors. So
Teasing a breakup there. Teasing a little breakup. Subtle. Because Ford cheated Dawkins out of a chance to wrestle Seth. And Seth mentioning, you guys should just break up. So I think there's something up here.
there's
I think
something.
this match with Seth was a tryout for Ford, I believe. Seeing how he looks out there with top name talent. And I think he belonged. Hey, look, I mean, it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was really solid. If the triple threat earlier didn't happen, this would be my match of the night. And I agree that they're definitely the wheel, I think, is turning for this feud to start heating up between Dawkins and Ford. And we've been a big, proponent of Ford, so I'm all good with it. Put the rocket on him and send him on.
I think the money is him in a heel, though. As a heel, I think that's where the money is.
I I could see it both ways because he interacts with the crowd really well, and they get behind him.
He's so charismatic, man. The top guys always are heel before they become a big baby face. You know,
I
like
mean,
if you
that's
want to be a
true.
good baby face, you gotta be a good heel. And I think he has the chops to do that.
Yeah, I see your point. I think we may have talked about this last week too, but the
2 weeks
episode
ago.
didn't end up airing.
Yeah.
Or either or, whichever. I know we talked about it at one point that he has the total package. I think really whatever you give him, he's gonna do 110% of whatever you ask, including this match right here. So Seth hit a nasty buckle bomb into a Falcon's arrow for a 2 count that I really liked. And then Montez went for the frog splash, but Rollins pulled the knees up and then curb stomped him. As the match ended, Rollins started to plot an attack after, but Dawkins comes in and saves him. My two guys right now that I really want to see used, they're two of my favorites, I think, out of both companies are Montez and Ricky Starks.
Wow.
And I just want to see their full potential. I want them to, give them an open mic, give them everything they need to succeed and see what these guys can do. I'm really big on both these guys. I have been for the past few weeks. So those are my two, not obviously not my two favorites because you got Punk and Roman and stuff like that. But I would say out of the young mid card guys, these are my two guys right now. I would bet the house on.
You got to throw Riddle in there too.
Mm. Hobbs can be lumped in there. Riddle, I wouldn't bet $3
Come
on.
on, man. Hey, Riddle, he's over, man.
Not with me. Not with me. Well, we'll move on to Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. This was a solid match. Nothing crazy. I mean, the bigger story is the aftermath because um, I wrote Bianca, but I meant Bailey. Bailey, Dakota, and Io interrupted and beat them down during the match. So obviously it ended in a no contest. So then Bianca comes down, and she came out in tennis shoes this time. So I guess she learned earlier. She saved them and demanded a match with one of them tonight. What I was scared of. Well, I'll save that for later. Actually, we'll get to it later. But they hint that the match is going to be Bianca versus Io Sky.
I didn't watch this. Sorry,
Ah,
Mike. I didn't watch this.
the match wasn't bad.
Oh man, Alexa Bliss is bad. Bliss is bad, man. Come on. You might as well watch Live. You might as well watch Live, man.
Nah, I'll give Alexa a little bump above Liv at least.
Does she still come out with that doll?
Okay,
Why?
never mind. You might be
Why?
right.
Come on, man.
Oh, one issue that did bother me. I know this is a 3-hour show, But on SmackDown, they recapped SummerSlam all in the first like 5-10 minutes. This show, it was every match, every segment. They replayed something from SummerSlam. I was like, oh my God, can we get to something? Like, I just got sick of seeing the recaps.
We're nitpicking now. We're nitpicking.
That's just my personal opinion. Play it
Yeah.
all at the beginning, like they used to do when I was a kid, and then
Well,
leave it at that.
yeah. I was about to say, you remember as a kid where we couldn't order the pay-per-views and you were dying to see a recap of what happened the night before. So I mean, look at it from those lens. Some little kid out there didn't see the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but do they have to run it for every single segment?
Maybe not every segment. Yeah, okay. All right. Still though.
Pulled you over
Point
to the
point
dark
still
side.
stands. Point still stands, man.
Next up, we had Dolph Ziggler, Tommaso Ciampa, Chad Gable, or I'm sorry, I'm giving them first names. Well, hey, it's Triple H, new leadership.
There you
But
go.
this was the second of the triple threats to determine the number one contender for the United States title. This was a really good match, and so that's what 3 bangers out of 4 to start the show off. Because I thought all these matches were pretty good.
There was so
Uh,
much wrestling on this show.
yeah, I think I saw a stat that was like the last Vince Raw might have been 47 minutes, but this show was like 67 or 63, something like that. So it's on the trend up,
You you
and
know you know what I've noticed? I noticed that they didn't mention Ziggler's feud with Theory at all. Like in this match, they didn't mention it. Is that over?
they might have killed it short. I don't know. Theory wasn't on Raw or SmackDown, and I know his uncle passed away. So, and I know we talked about that a little on SummerSlam or the SummerSlam podcast we did, but I don't know. Maybe they're gonna segue back into it over the next few weeks, or maybe they'll just kill it off. Old leadership, whatever. Nothing substantial really happened, so it's not like we're missing out on a ton.
Yeah, I'm worried about Theory now that Triple H is running things. I don't know if Triple H is as high on Theory as Vince was, especially with guys like Cross coming back. It's making me worried about Theory and how he got jabroned at SummerSlam. I don't know, man. Pray for my boy Theory.
He's gotten the short stick the past few weeks, so we'll see. I like Theory. You know, we're big fans of Theory here,
Oh
but
yeah, I like Theory. Add
we'll just
Theory to
have to
that
see where
list
it
with
goes.
Montez. Add Theory to that list with.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. 4 guys, 2 among both companies. We got Theory and Montez, Ricky and Hobbs. There we go. But like I said, this was a really solid match. Ciampa would end up picking up the win here, so it would be Ciampa versus AJ for the number one contendership, and he pinned Gable to close it. I would have liked to see Dolph go on to win, just because I'm a big Dolph mark, but another thing, and we just kind of touched on this. I would have liked to seen Theory interrupt, causing Dolph to lose if they're going with this feud. If not, that's okay. If they're just gonna kill it off and say old leadership, whatever. But I think this is definitely the start of Triple H's Ciampa push that he's fixing the
I
full
called
send
it,
it with
man.
him.
I called it last week, man. I said Ciampa's gonna be world champ by the end of the year.
I mean, it's looking more and more likely at the moment.
Hey, I don't hate Ciampa. He's okay. He was really good in NXT. So I mean, there's worse guys. There's worse guys to push at that position.
Absolutely. He's a little small, but
Yeah,
he looks like a wrestler to me. So,
it's more noticeable. It's more noticeable on the main roster though. Like in NXT, he looked like 6'2", 6'3", around all the other guys. But now Lashley is gonna tower over him and like is twice his size. And Miz is like 4 inches taller than him.
yeah, that's one pairing I don't love for that reason.
Much taller, and his wife is so much taller than Ciampa too.
Especially when she wears heels, and 9 times out of 10 she does. So next up, we had Edge in the ring. Edge is a great promo, and I really wish they never broke up the Judgment Day. Now they have to, because I just don't know where they go with this. I don't know.
Yeah, gave him back his music, didn't they?
And I think the smoke and they gave him the pyro back too.
So everything that Edge, everything that happened with Edge's character development over the last 6 months, all that's just washed away.
Hey man,
Which is fine, I
tell
guess.
me.
I guess. I mean, Edge is Edge, man. I've never been a big fan of Edge. I'm sure the fans of his like that he's back to his old self.
I mean, I always liked Edge, but this is
Christian
just
was better.
it's just weird, I guess. I don't
Christian
think
has always
Christian was
been
better.
Christian's always been better. But that's another argument for another time.
We'll move on. Next up, we had Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Did you watch this one at least?
I didn't watch this.
Oh man.
No, I watched the Hulu version. This wasn't on here.
Oh man, what? I know I actually watched the 3-hour version, but man, this was a decent match.
I heard it was okay.
It started pretty solid. Io hit a nice springboard moonsault onto Bianca on the outside. Bianca is really strong, so the chemistry here was really cool because it was like power wrestler versus an aerial wrestler. I'm starting to get behind Bianca. I really want to like her.
Wow.
Please
Turning
get
a new
rid of
leaf. You getting soft?
please get rid of those lips with the tail CGI thing they do. It bothers me so bad, man.
The CGI. Come on, man. You gotta. If that's the biggest gripe with Bianca, I would consider you a big fan of Bianca then.
No, it's just a WWE gripe to be honest. I just think
Here we
her
go.
CGI is like one of the worst out of any of them. I really don't love that tribal chief yelling thing they have either, but
Yeah, I was just about to mention that one.
it's just lost on me. But I do like Bianca. The more I watch her, the more I have become a fan because she's really good in the ring and she's good on the mic.
I say the CGI stuff makes them feel larger than they actually larger than life. It gives them more character, in my personal opinion.
Agree to disagree. I see your point. I just it's too overproduced to me. That's just my that's just how I like my wrestling, I guess. It's open to interpretation. So, around halfway through the match, Bailey and Dakota made their way down to the ring. Later, Io tried a Hurricane Rana off the apron, but Bianca caught her and slung her into the barricade, which I thought was really cool, and it made Bianca look, like you said, larger than life earlier. As Dakota and Bailey started to play their mind games, Alexa and Asuka came down, and then Io landed a roll up and put her legs on the ropes. And Asuka threw her legs off the ropes, and then it just turned into a brawl. The finish was not my favorite. However, the fact that they made this match was kind of awkward to me. It was a good match.
Two DQs?
Yes.
2 DQs in one night?
Sadly. But I at least understand why they did it here because this was my issue when they first announced this match. Who's going to lose? You're going to make Bianca lose, or you're going to make the re-debuting, or at least first time on the main roster, Io Sky lose?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess you were in a no-win situation here. You had to get out of it some way. But 2 DQ finishes in one night
Yeah.
from the women?
Nah, it wasn't my favorite. It's a solid match. It was the best way they could get out of this. Just don't think it should have been made in the first place. Yet, at least.
I heard though, I didn't see this, but I heard that they kept Io and Asuka separate. Like they didn't face off. Might be building to something though. That could be a good match.
Yeah. Did they ever feud in NXT?
Nah, Asuka was dominant before Io got there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you'll have to catch me up on all the NXT stuff. So, um, I would I would be down for that feud. There's a lot of like we said earlier, this has given the Raw women's roster a shot in the arm. And there's a lot of things. I mean, you could have a Bianca and Io feud, Bianca and Dakota, Bianca and
Yeah.
Bailey. A lot of stuff going on.
It's giving Raw a shot in the arm, period. There was no rematches on this Raw, which is something that I mean, we've had rematches every single week since we started reviewing Raw, man. It's quite noticeable after a while when you got the Street Profits against the Usos in one iteration or the other. But tonight it was all fresh matchups. All fresh matchups.
And that's how it should be coming out of a big pay-per-view.
Yes.
And it's something that keeps the TV show interesting. This was the first Raw of this review that I was like, oh my God, this is the longest 3 hours of my life. Like I genuinely wanted to sit here and watch this.
It feels different. It feels different. Let's give it another month or two to actually see Triple H pull his big pieces into place. But so far, so good, man. I'm positive. Let's do it.
Agreed. Not COVID positive though.
Oh no monkeypox this way.
Oh God. Corbin though. Nah, anyways.
Well,
Miz and Ciampa were backstage, and Miz says he can't believe someone as accomplished as AJ would stoop to Logan Paul's level and help him out like he did at SummerSlam. Ciampa then followed up saying he's going to make him regret that decision tonight in their match. Solid promo from both guys. I think this will eventually dissolve into a good feud because they're both good promos, both pretty good wrestlers, and I don't love the pairing to start off with, but I'm interested to see the breakup.
yeah. Ciampa's gonna destroy Miz when they break up.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of Ciampa destroying someone, even though this was kind of competitive, I'm just playing. Next
Yeah.
up, it was the
Good.
number one contenders match for the U.S. title, Ciampa versus AJ. I really enjoyed this match and felt like Ciampa got to showcase what he can do, not as a
He can
flunky.
go. He can go.
Yeah, he wowed me here because I've never seen any of his matches. So this one I was like, oh shoot, because he had a nice rising knee lift as a reversal as AJ was flying in with a phenomenal forearm. AJ
That
and
was spot of the night.
oh yeah, it was disgusting. It sounded good and it was just perfectly timed. You couldn't have got it any better. AJ ended up reversing a top rope maneuver that Ciampa was going for, and he reversed it into a Styles Clash, which AJ would have picked up the win here, but the Miz grabbed his leg and put it on the rope to save it. So then the ref saw that the ref saw Ciampa's leg on the rope like it broke. AJ then went outside to attack the Miz, and as he does, Ciampa slams AJ into the ring post and then throws him over the barricade. This was a close call, but AJ made it back in at a count of 9. He then runs into another rising knee lift, the fairy tale ending, and then 1, 2, 3 Ciampa versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title.
Make a prediction. Who goes over next week?
Hmm. I'm gonna say Bobby,
Wow. Ah.
and I'm torn.
What's your reasoning? What's your reasoning?
I think that Ciampa might go to win, and then the Miz will get jealous and cost him. That way, Bobby is still
Okay.
protected as a champion. Ciampa can have his feud with the Miz and go over and still be elevated. The Miz really won't lose anything by losing another feud, and everybody comes out of it better, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay, but what does Bobby do for Clash at the Castle then?
Ooh, good
That's what
question.
I'm saying. I think either DQ happens next week and we get a rematch at Clash at the Castle, or Ciampa goes over and we get a rematch at Clash at the Castle. But the situation that you just described, that's enticing too, Miz versus Ciampa feud. I think that it has more legs though, the Ciampa Miz pairing before you break them off. But it
Yeah,
wouldn't be a bad direction.
I was gonna say maybe Champa, or maybe like I said happens, and then Champa's like, well, I got cheated, so give me another shot, Bobby. But then you'd have two baby faces going against each other. I wouldn't love that.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'm interested though to see where it goes because I can't predict who's gonna
Yep.
win that.
It's unpredictable. That's what you wanted.
Yes, sir. Raw's looking pretty good.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I mean,
Never thought you'd give him that kind of praise.
hey man, Triple H, he's spitting that fire right now.
Hey, man, I'm all in on Triple H.
All out or all in?
No, get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Bobby was backstage and he said that his mission is to elevate this title and he's going to defend it every week if he has to. He compliments Ciampa for his, well-roundedness in the ring and that he's a pretty good competitor and that he's sure it'll be a good match. But he knocks The Miz for his conniving ways and says that despite these, there's no way anyone's going to separate him from the U.S. title. So another way to build this match going into next week. If it was AEW, Ciampa probably would have he probably would have lost the triple threat and somehow found his way into the United States title, and there would have been no build, and they would have threw it on Rampage.
Oh, man.
Nah, I'm just playing, but
well, Bobby Lashley was involved, so you know it would have been on Rampage.
oh man, oh no. I wasn't gonna go that far, but I mean, if the shoe fits.
Oh man.
Anyways, we'll come to the end. We had the main event of the night: the challenger, the Mysterios, versus the champions, the Usos, for the undisputed tag team titles. Ray still being this good at his age is insane.
Crazy.
To start this one, he did like a dive spot, and then I think he missed, so he rolled. Like, he dove outside and did like a roll and got right back up. I was like, dude, he's like 50. It's just kind of crazy to still watch him because he hasn't even lost a step to me.
No. And he's been wrestling since he was 16. Imagine how many bumps he's taken throughout his career.
Especially with the way he wrestles, too.
Yeah.
But the Mysterios took control pretty early here. They quickly zapped all the momentum they had, though, as Ray could not get a tag to Dominic. They really cut off the ring here, and I enjoyed it. There was like 4 commercial breaks, though, and it was taking me out of it. I understand.
They had a picture-in-picture.
That's a break. I don't watch them when AEW does it.
Oh, man, come on.
You
better zoom in. You better zoom in and watch that.
Man, you can't zoom in on Hulu.
You better get close to the screen, man.
Well, anyways, coming out of one of the 4 breaks, Ray got a hot tag that the crowd got up for, and Dom got tagged in as they landed a joint 619 and got a close 2 count. They went back and forth for a while here as Dom went to line up the 619. Jay tagged himself in. They landed their finish and escaped a close call with the Mysterios. It wasn't a bad match at all. Just not my match of the night. Kind of thrown together, but all these guys are good wrestlers, so it wasn't like, well, 3 of these guys are good wrestlers. But
yeah. It was a fresh matchup. I like that.
Yeah, it was different. Not, Montez Ford versus Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal made the jump.
Oh, man. My bad. Jay Uso.
That'd be a good match, though.
It would be a good match. But after the match, but it will be a Rampage. You know why?
Oh man, I was about to make that joke.
After the match, as the Usos started leaving, the Judgment Day came from the crowd to attack the Mysterios. As they're beating them down, Edge runs down, starts to clean house. Edge goes to spear Balor, but Rhea pushed Dom in the way. So then Edge lands a spear on Dom, and Ray looks in the ring with confusion as Edge chased Balor out of the arena. What'd you think about the match as a whole and the the
The
ensuing
aftermath.
aftermath?
What are they building to with this, man? Is Dom gonna join the Judgment Day? Is Rhea enjoying tormenting Dom? Are we gonna get a dominatrix gimmick with Rhea and Dom? What are we doing here? The match was good. Usos, they're one of the best tag teams in the world. Dominic was there. Ray, like you said, looked good for his age. And the chaotic ending, it was nice. Probably, definitely the best Raw we've seen in the last couple of weeks.
God, since how long?
It's probably been a few months, actually. I was being generous.
I'm not a huge fan of intergender matches, but like, at what point can Rhea start wrestling the
I want to
men?
see it. I want to see it, man.
It's believable at least. Like, you couldn't throw Alexa Bliss in there with like Roman Reigns, but hey, man, Rhea might have a
would you
shot.
would you be all in favor of Dom joining Judgment Day?
I think it would give his character a boost, but like, is he charismatic enough to be in that group, you think?
No, that's why he should be Rhea's lackey if he's going to join the group.
Oh, God.
He should be. Rhea should Dom, man. I mean, I would. They're going to TV 14, Micah. They can do this.
Some stories write
They
themselves.
can do this. Exactly, man. You get him a gimp mask.
Oh, God.
Let him bar across his helmet.
Oh, no. As career suicide.
Let's do it, man. Oh yeah, it's not good, but it'd be pretty interesting television, man.
I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for the Judgment Day to be over with and getting Edge into something else. It's just so there's too many layers and there's a whole lot going on with the Mysterios and the Judgment Day, and I know they've had some injuries and Edge coming back. I'm just sick of it.
It's elevating Rhea
Yeah, that I'm fine
being
with.
part of Judgment Day. Yeah,
And Priest, I feel like he looks good too, but everybody else.
Balor's the weak point. Get him out of here. Y'all want him?
I don't know. Apparently he's vouching for y'all. Did you see that on Twitter where he was like, "Man, if you don't want to be here, just go."
No, I didn't see that. But now that Triple H has the book, I'm sure he will be in a prominent role. He loves him some Balor.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll move on. I don't really have much more to contribute to this. It was an okay ending for a good show.
Yeah,
What would you
it
rate it?
was. The whole show. I'm always team WWE, so I'm gonna give it a high score regardless. But this week, I think they actually earned my 7.5. This was my show of the week.
I think
Raw was what's up?
I think you're being a little too.
No, 7 point. Man, this
No,
was
no,
the
no, no,
best
no,
Raw
no,
we've
no.
seen since we started.
Let me finish. I think you're being a little too harsh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I give it a 7.8, man. The first hour commercial free. The matches were interesting. They built up the U.S. title. They had matches that we haven't seen forever. Good promos. Concurrent feuds flowing throughout the show, like the Bailey and Bianca stuff. Just stuff that made sense and didn't insult you.
Triple H is not playing no games right now.
Mm-mm.
No pun intended. He is like the first hour of Raw being commercial free was huge. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but They have an NXT show that is going head to head with All Out right after the Cardiff show. What do you think about that?
Mm. Me personally, I don't feel like people will tune in to the NXT show rather than the AEW show unless they're just AEW fans. Because if it was NXT Black and Gold, okay, we might have something. But NXT now, while you said, I mean, I know you said it's getting a little bit better, but it's still not what it was then. Uh, I just don't feel like it's gonna pull that many people away.
Triple H is looking for revenge, man. He remembers what the Wednesday Night Wars did to him. It gave him a heart attack, man. He was out the company. He was going to be what, if it wasn't for this whole controversial events, Triple H would be a background player. He would not be booking the shows. He wouldn't be running talent development or talent relations. He wouldn't be in that role, man. He never forgot what AEW did to him. And this is just me speculating. I don't know exactly what Triple H thinks. But still, he wants revenge. He's going to get it. He's doing that by booking the show how he wants. He's bringing back his old guys. He actually took away a little bit of buzz on Rampage with what happened at the end of SmackDown, too. And if you buy into all the dirt sheet rumors, he's not done adding to his roster. Maybe we get a big surprise at that NXT show.
I mean, we could. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, where's MJF been, man?
Oh God.
Where's MJF been? I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Where's he been? We might get a special debut from certain somebody.
I don't think that would happen, but I do agree.
Hey, never say never. Never say never.
I agree they definitely put the burners on. But yeah, if you had told me that I was going to say Raw was show of the week, I wouldn't have believed you. Overall, I'm interested to see the direction they're going to keep going. But we will move on to AEW Dynamite. This is the August 3rd edition of Dynamite. And we open up with freshly squeezed. Squeeze him and squeeze him more until he's off the show. Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal. I don't care to see Orange Cassidy at all, but if it means Jay Lethal getting a win, I'll suffice.
Yeah.
This was way more competitive than it should have been, as is most Orange Cassidy matches. And
of course.
Then the best friends did some ridiculous spot where Trent was on Chuck's shoulders so they could be taller than Satnam Singh. I almost skipped this match just because of Orange Cassidy.
Oh, man. This was a good match. But we've seen Orange Cassidy do all this stuff before. It's old. They capitalized on Lethal's momentum coming out of the Ric Flair retirement match, and then completely killed it on Friday or Saturday. When was that? Saturday. They completely killed it, but Lethal looked good in the match. Thought it was okay.
Again, because Lethal was in it, I sticked around. If it had been almost anybody else, I wouldn't have. After the match, Sanjay comes down acting like he's going to interview Jay. Jay says that he's going to snap Cassidy's leg if Wardlow doesn't get out here. Wardlow runs down to save him, and then Jay Lethal challenges him to a match Battle of the Belts. Fine with Wardlow and Jay Lethal feud. Can we have a bigger build going into Battle of the Belts?
I thought Wardlow sounded good in the promo.
I told you a few weeks ago, man, people hate on his promos. He's not that bad.
I think they hated that promo he cut where he was talking about being a working man. I think that's where the hate came from.
I mean, yeah. But like even that first one when after he won the Face of the Revolution, I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't think he's that bad. There's worse. Far worse.
Yeah. When people compare him to Batista, I mean, I don't see that because Batista was really underrated on the mic, but Wardlow, he's passable.
I think the Batista comparison is fair. He's definitely not there yet, but
And he's definitely not as big as Batista.
no, but give him a few years to get, or a year or two to get some experience on the mic and a title run, and then we'll talk about where Wardlow is then. I'm excited for his future, and I like Wardlow. I like Jay Lethal. Enjoy the feud. Just wish I had a little bit more build going into a special episode. Next up, Adam Cole has returned.
Hey, he got a monster pop though. He had a big pop. We gotta acknowledge that.
He did. I did write that down. And I have not been big on Adam Cole's run in AEW, but I will say I did enjoy him being out here this time. He at least he just kind of felt like, I guess, the old AEW, like some of these guys are actually coming back. I was interested to see what he wanted to do, what he had, in mind, stuff like that. It just was something fresh, I guess. I haven't seen him in a while, so we can't miss you if you're not gone. He'd been gone, so
And Cole, his problem was never on the mic. It's just how he looks in the ring. He's 5'8" and has no muscle definition at all. That's always been my gripe with Adam Cole.
yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't want to see Adam Cole wrestle every week. To be honest with you, it's not that he's a bad wrestler, but give him some more mic time rather than wrestling time, and I might be a little higher on him.
Or put him on commentary. He's good on commentary too.
Well, he says that he's not medically cleared, so hopefully we will get some of that mic time that we were talking about instead of some wrestling. But he said it feels great to be reunited with his best friends, who all of them have the intangibles. He goes down the list of Bobby and Kyle O'Reilly, Matt and Nick. He talks about being loyal to his brothers who have had his back all the way. And he makes the ultimatum that if they're going to be in this trios tournament, they must choose Bobby as the third if Adam Cole, or the Bucks must choose Bobby as the third, pronouns, pal, if Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly aren't cleared. And then Kyle O'Reilly and Fish just beat the dog piss out of the Young Bucks completely randomly. I didn't care like a ton for this because I don't love the Bucks, but I do like to see Adam Cole. Do like the Undisputed Era, so minus Roderick Strong obviously, but I'm excited to see where this goes, especially with the return of Kenny Omega, I imagine. But then I got all excited for Kenny Omega's return, and I got a warm plate full of Adam Page.
Yeah. He got blue ball.
Yeah. I'll give Adam Cole props though. This kid was like sobbing in the crowd, like his mother had just died
that
in
was
front
great.
of him. It was so great.
that'll be in promo packages forever, man.
It was so great. Like that little kid. I wish I could show everybody right now that's listening to the podcast, but if you didn't see it, go search it out, because it was that moment where like that girl on that Miz promo just had that stank face. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Angry Miss Girl?
Yes.
That was when he won the WWE title.
It was one of those. It was just great. But I mean, after they beat him down, Adam Page's music hit. He had butterflies on his pants, dude. He's a cowboy. What?
Yeah, doesn't that scream cowboy to you?
No.
I heard online that it referenced something they did online. I don't know.
Probably some
So
BTE video when they were all in Ring of Honor, and it probably has like 500 views or something, man. Don't do that to me. Like, I don't care. I don't watch Being the Elite. Give me a good storyline that I can watch on TV. I don't know. I can't stand the Bucks.
the segment, it was probably the best segment of the night. It was just kind of random. That why turn the Young Bucks face when there was so much money on the table of building up to a FTR Young Bucks rubber match at All
You
Out.
know why.
Oh, well, there
You
you
know
go.
why.
Go ahead. Go ahead and inform our listeners. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Come on, man. This is so obvious. They got booed. Well, I won't say boo because it's FTR chants or whatever. They got, they bent over and tried to give the crowd what they thought they wanted, and the crowd pissed in their mouth with FTR chants. So now they're pissed off because that they aren't the top babyface, and everybody realizes that FTR is a better tag team than them because FTR doesn't need to do being the elite to get people interested in them. What did Adam Cole say to Cross? You know what they do to make people interested in Adam
uh,
Cole? They ring the freaking bell. That's what they do for FTR. And man, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how many flips or whatever. And you can say, "Oh, well, you're just copying Cornette. You're a Cult of Cornette member." I don't give a crap. FTR is a better tag team than the Young Bucks. I want to like the Young Bucks, but they do crap like
they're
this.
the best tag team in the
Yes,
world. Best tag team in the world.
no, bar none. There's nobody close to them right now. And the Young Bucks didn't want to drop the belts to them because it's 1-1, and they didn't want to look bad, and they didn't want to admit that they're not the best. So they're turning babyface, so people can't chant FTR over them.
Okay, so maybe it was the long term plan to have the Undisputed Elite breakup so we could have the Omega and the Bucks go against Adam Cole and Fish and O'Reilly. So maybe I'll maybe cut them some slack there, but man, you got to pivot if the crowd is that much behind FTR. You got to pivot and put more gasoline on the fire by having the Young Bucks FTR rubber match. There's so much money they left on the table there.
I completely 100% agree. That match, the Young Bucks and FTR, for all the titles, could have headlined All Out with how much people
Yeah.
want to see that match. That's for 4 tag team titles across the world. That right there, you could have marketed that the real world tag team champions. And yet you didn't. And now we're going to get what? Swerve and Keith Lee versus FTR maybe. And that's no knock on Swerve and Keith Lee because I like them, but it's not them versus the Young Bucks. There's history there. There's a long feud. The Young Bucks are at least in the top 5 in the world. I'll give them that prop. That's not my issue. My issue is they didn't know what to do when the time was right, like you said. It
They
may
didn't
not
do the
be in their
right thing.
plan.
They didn't do
Yes.
the right thing, man. Like, if there's money to be made, you do that. Doesn't matter what ego gets involved. You get the match in the ring. You give the fans what they want. It they didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to say it. I do want to throw this tweet out there. That was an exchange between Dax and Meltzer. Well, I say exchange. Dax just replied to Meltzer after Meltzer replied to somebody on Twitter. The person on Twitter posted, people who actually think the Young Bucks are burying FTR or are scared of them in some way are some of the biggest losers on wrestling Twitter. Then Dave Meltzer replied, actually, they're the people who learn from Alex Jones types and can't read. And then Dax subtweeted it and said, Dave, with all due respect, F off. Like, in the most respectful and loving way, I mean that. When you decide to get 2 sides of a story, then speak on it. Thank you. And so then everybody dogged Dax for being a Cornette supporter. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people can say what they want. Like, people were dogging Dax about Cornette's past, saying Cornette's a racist, and that Dax is defending him. Dax is complimenting him. Dax literally said, hey, maybe we should listen to the guy every now and then because he does have 40 years of experience in the business. He didn't say, oh, yeah, this specific thing Jim Cornette did. You know, when Jim Cornette said this about Japanese wrestlers or Jim Cornette said this about women I mean, it don't matter what it is. He didn't say, yeah, that's okay. He just said, hey, maybe his opinions on wrestling aren't so bad.
Yeah, and don't listen to him. If you don't like him, don't listen to him. My problem with Dave is his his bias towards the Young Bucks. Like I remember he gave the Young Bucks a 5-star match on this random episode of Rampage, and meanwhile Shawn and Taker get 4.75. And then the stuff that's gonna come out about the backstage stuff in AEW, I feel like they're not telling the whole story in the Observer. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really get a lot of leaks about what's going to happen in AEW or about the backstage environment in AEW, and that's going to come out one day. And I don't think it's going to paint the Young Bucks and Omega and Adam Page in the brightest of lights. You know?
I just think that the evidence is glaringly obvious that FTR is the best tag team champ, or I mean, they're the best tag team in the world. I'm sorry, and they've been the number one contenders since April, and have not gotten a shot.
Is that a fact?
Yes, that's a fact. That is a 100% fact. You can look that up. They've been the number one contender since April.
I didn't notice that.
And if it had been the Bucks that had wrestled the Briscoes at Death Before Dishonor, and they had that same exact match, Meltzer would have gave it 6 stars.
Oh,
And that's a fact.
easily.
And so the bias against FTR is they don't do flips and they don't do, 2022 wrestling that people like to do. They're classic old school guys and it works. That's the funny thing.
And usually the Young Bucks stuff is rotten, man. It's terrible. It brings down the show, the stuff that they're involved in.
The wrestling, to me, their wrestling is not the problem. I can watch them wrestle even if I know, hey, it's a Young Bucks match. This is what it's going to be. It's like a Moxley match. You know what a Moxley match is going to be. It's the backstage stuff. Nothing they say is genuine to me. Like I can't lose myself in a Young Bucks promo or an Adam
I hate
Page promo.
their matches, man, they don't follow the tag rules. Like they literally just there's no rules in the Young Bucks match. Can we have some semblance of structure here, like an actual tag match? Or this is a tornado tag? Or what are we doing here?
Well, that's their gimmick, though. That's why they wrote that whole
Why?
book.
Why is that? That's never been explained.
Because I didn't read the Young Bucks book, and if you want to say I'm wrong on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, say what you want to. But from what I read, which was like an excerpt of it, they weren't successful wrestling classic tag team wrestling. Like, do you remember Generation Me and TNA?
I liked them. I liked them. I like
Well, yeah, I
Generation
mean, I
Me.
didn't like them that, or I didn't hate them then, but they weren't making money as much as they would have doing this other stuff. So they legit changed their style and tried to change wrestling and made a or did they make PWG? They were at least involved in a company that they could do their own style of wrestling. That's perfectly fine. Do that. But don't bring it to a main stage and expect people to accept it the same as FTR and then get mad when people like FTR more because it's the best crap they've seen in forever and it's classic.
And they actually follow the rules, man. Jesus. Have some kind of. Can we get a 5 count when they're in the ring for 10 minutes double teaming people? Like that bugs me, man. And it's the same referee too.
Mm-hmm.
Old Rick Knox, our pal Rick Knox, who would be the worst referee in wrestling if Aubrey Edwards didn't exist.
No, Aubrey's
Jesus
better than
Christ!
him.
No. I'd rather have Rick Knox, man. Her constant movements and weird faces really bugs me, and I cannot unnotice it when she's refereeing a match. I can't not focus on that. It bugs me. I'd rather have Rick Knox.
Well, anyways, to close that excerpt, they basically made their own style of wrestling. So then they got popular doing it. And so that their book is literally called Killing the Business. And I
A
understand they're
playoff
just
coordinator.
playing into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's at least like some ounce of truth. Now, I'm not saying they killed the business, but what I'm saying is you had to go away and make your own style of wrestling for you to succeed doing that. And that's cool. But there's an independent audience and there's a casual fan audience. And people go, oh, yeah, man, that's cool. But then they see guys like FTR and they go, man, that whole match was cool.
Hmm. Yeah. And they left them with a lot of money on the table with that.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome back, Adam Cole. Glad to see you. Excited, kinda, to see where this goes, I guess. But don't play it out on BTE. Play it out on AEW. You know, the thing with the most mainstream attention.
So are we getting? So Omega's not going to be involved in this?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see it play out.
Okay, because the money was in Omega and the Bucks, not Adam Page and the Bucks. Maybe it's because I don't like Adam Page, so
I mean, I agree. I'd rather see
I'd rather
Omega,
have Omega. Yeah.
but maybe he's not cleared. I don't. We'll have to see.
He's working on the video game.
Oh God. Hold on. We're gonna take a brief intermission. I know we've been talking about the Bucks for forever. That AEW cover for that game is awful.
I thought it was fake when I seen it. I was like, "There's no way this is the cover, man."
I seen somebody on Twitter make a better one.
We could Photoshop that in literally 15 minutes, probably shorter.
It's
Did they even
so
try on
bad.
that? The game looked okay. I'm not gonna dog the game because I haven't seen like a lot of gameplay on it, but from what I've seen, it looks like did they make this game for the PlayStation 2? What are those graphics? Terrible, awful.
I
And they're
don't know
adding
that
mini games. They're adding mini games, Micah, like it's Mario Party or something.
I don't know that they were going 100% for an ultra realistic wrestling game. The graphics don't bother me that bad. As long as it's not like chunky or blocky, that's one thing. But if they're a little like animated,
The TNA game that came out 13 years ago looks better. Let's be honest, Micah. Let's be honest, man.
it makes me think of WWE All Stars. Now, some of the recent
Oh.
gameplay looks a little better, but the mini games part bothered me because I'm like, man, this is a wrestling game. Give me a dang GM mode or a universe mode. Give me a career, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I need something to keep me coming back to the game, like a universe mode or GM mode. Hopefully, they put that in the game, not all them hokey mini games like I seen.
We'll just
Who are
have to
those mini
see.
games
But
for?
I don't.
Who's
I
buying a
don't
who's
know.
who's buying a wrestling game to play mini games?
Uh, I
It's
can't.
not
I
for us,
can't
man.
answer. There's so
And
many
how
questions.
how dare you compare it to WWE All Stars? That was a great game. How dare you? That
I didn't like All Stars.
whoa what? What do you hate about All Stars?
I just didn't like the graphics.
Oh, you didn't like those
No.
graphics, but you like AEW graphics?
I know.
Come on now, let's be fair.
It. It depends on the gameplay. It really wasn't the graphics for me. I didn't like the jumping 30 feet in the air to do your move, and if AEW's that same way, I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, we'll give it some time. They say it's gonna release the first quarter of 2023. Hopefully, it doesn't get pushed back.
Anyways, we've been talking about AEW for like 30 minutes, and we're on like the third segment.
I know this was a bad show too. We're talking about.
Next up, Moxley was in the back, and this was definitely here. It was a
Just a normal
promo.
Moxley promo. Yeah, it was a normal Moxley promo. He yelled and he
I
did his
just
thing.
the Blackpool Combat Club makes no sense. Because, okay, Claudio, face. Wheeler Yuta, face. Daniel Bryan gets cheered but plays into the heel and fights like a heel. Moxley gets cheered but plays into being a heel and fights like a heel. I just don't understand like how these people like, oh, we just love to fight. Okay, can we get a little bit more? You know what I mean? I don't know. I want to like the Blackpool Combat Club.
Moxley said he don't get no days off. Man, that was cap. I ain't work one day a week for AEW. What do you mean he don't get no days off?
Nah, he doesn't. I'll vouch for him on this one. He does independent.
Man, a couple times a month. He ain't out there every single day. Come on. He
I
gets
mean, he
days
ain't
off.
every single day, but he wrestles more than a lot of the AEW wrestlers.
He ain't got no WWE schedule. Get out of here. Stop it.
Anyways, we'll move on. Next up, we had Christian Cage in the back, cutting a promo with Tony Schiavone,
I thought
and
this was funny.
then
This is pretty funny.
I enjoyed this. I've enjoyed these two. This has been a better. I don't love the Luchasaurus turn or whatever, but this has been a solid segment. Usually every week. Um, Jungle Boy, or I'm sorry, Christian is talking about how Jungle Boy has no respect at all for his mentors and started, dogging him for bringing in personal situations that just had no reasons. Like Christian hadn't talked about everybody in Jungle Boy's family and his dead dad. And then Jungle Boy came flying in on some SUV and interrupted the program. And then security stopped him and Christian started jawing at each other about how you need to be arrested. You need to be arrested, you piece of crap. But I thought this was cool.
Yeah, Christian did well. I still remain the camp that Christian was always better than Edge, man.
Now I might be on your side. Not
Oh,
completely, but at least current day, I would
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
say Christian is more
Who's doing
interesting.
better work? Who's doing better work right now?
Christian.
And it's not even close. And it's not even close. And it's always been like that. People are just blind to the fact that Edge had the cool song and the long hair, and he got the machine behind him. But Christian has always been just as good on the mic and in the ring. Might be better in both aspects, actually.
Christian honestly just never got the mainstream. He just didn't get the push, like at the
He
end of
didn't
the
get the
day.
machine behind him. Yeah, they were never behind him. Even his world championship reign lasted what, a month in 2011?
Mm-hmm.
Probably less than that.
It was something like that. Him and Randy swapped it back 3 or 4 times.
But he never beat Randy. He won
Yeah,
by
didn't
disqualification.
Edge?
He never pinned
Yeah.
him.
Well, anyways,
Yeah, we're getting off topic.
next up,
Mm.
we had
Mm.
we had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Thunderstorm. And man, everybody on Twitter was talking about how this was a really good match. And I feel so bad, but you told me it went 20 minutes long.
It
And we
did.
just saw this feud in March. I'm sorry, Scoop Slam listeners. I skipped this one.
Yeah, I was out too. I was out.
Burn me at the stake. I'm sorry.
You know what to expect. It was the same match they always have, man. Popcorn match.
You have to go that far. Next up, they start to run a package on Sammy and Ty's upcoming wedding. So I'm guessing that's going to be next Wednesday. Maybe, I don't know.
Wait,
Uh,
whoa. That's what they were building to? Did
yeah,
they say it was gonna be on TV?
maybe not, but I saw on
I don't.
Twitter that they were talking about it was going to be soon.
I didn't catch that from the promo package if they had that, but what was next? What was next?
Yeah, I mean, this was Eddie Kingston then interrupted it, and Yeah, I mean, it was just okay,
So he's still feuding with Jericho, kind of, with Sammy.
I guess. No, I'm sorry. They got married yesterday. So, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Guevara.
It was pretty funny though. I mean, I like the guy narrating the the promo package.
Yeah, but it's lumped in with the Jericho stuff, so I don't care for it.
Jesus, how is he still feuding with? He's still feuding with Jericho indirectly because this is going to the pay per view, Michael. Sammy and Eddie Kingston. Yes. So how many? When's All Out? September.
Mm-hmm.
When did this feud with Jericho start?
Probably February because it
February.
was their first match was at Revolution.
Kingston has never felt colder.
And he was so high after Revolution too.
It would, yeah.
Well, another bright spot in the show though. Will Hobbs had a match versus Ren Jones, who I guess was just some local guy. Hobbs got a really cool entrance with the stage thing they have in the middle, the stage lights that's usually above the Titantrons. It like came down and it lifted up. I thought that was really cool.
Didn't
So
um didn't Taz announce that Team Taz is dead before this match, or was it after?
yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, Taz officially cut all ties with him. I mean, honestly, I think he did that a few months ago, but
Yeah.
I think they got some backlash that they had to cover their tail on that one.
I like they addressed it finally,
Yeah,
and not just let it, let us leave it up to interpretation or cover it on Rampage or something. At least they put it on Dynamite.
hey man, they could have put it on dark, and then it's on us that we didn't search it out. But I'm cool with the entrance, and I'm cool with Hobbs getting this TV time. That's not my issue at all. Who is going to win at All Out? Well, I guess that's what they're building to is a Ricky Starks Hobbs feud. Obviously, Hobbs won the squash match. Ricky came out and started attacking him. Hobbs hit him with a spine buster, and he walked off as Ricky was writhing in pain. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing they're building to this match at All Out. Cool. I like the feud itself. I didn't like the way it ensued, and we missed that on the last episode. But who is gonna go over?
Ugh, it's a lose-lose situation. You can't have either guys lose in their first big program. Ricky Starks kind of looked like a chump too because he came out to attack him after the match and he still got beat down.
Yeah, I didn't love it, and my wife said that I was being too critical, but this wasn't
We
my
just care
favorite.
so much about these guys, man. That's why we're being so critical of them.
Exactly. That's I want these guys to be big. Both of these guys can be in the world title picture, and yet okay, Starks goes over. Starks is in the main event picture, whatever. Where does Hobbs go? I'd be fine with Hobbs and Wardlow feuding.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think Hobbs wins this feud and then moves on to Wardlow.
But then what? I mean, Wardlow just won the belt. You gonna have him beat Wardlow already?
It's tough. It's tough. I don't know, man. You know how some of the best feuds they have for like a month, and then they never have another rematch after that. I think this is the same thing's going to happen with Hobbs and Starks. Like if it was a Jericho feud, this thing would last about 8 or 9 months. But this is this is Hobbs and Starks now. They haven't given us evidence that they're gonna actually commit to these guys long term to have a long term feud.
Maybe they let Hobbs go over at All Out, and Starks gets injured. Hobbs can go on to do whatever, and then have maybe him fight Wardlow. Ricky come out, cost him the title. Then they move on to Full Gear. Ricky gets the win, and they're both 1-1. So you just kind of leave it where it lies.
Full Gear in November?
Yeah,
That's a long ways away.
I'm about to say, but you got to take Ricky off TV for like 2 to 3 months at that point. They've booked themselves into a corner. I just don't feel like it should have happened like this.
No.
we'll see how it plays out.
Hobbs looked like a star, and his entrance, like you said, was pretty good. And the squash did what it needed to do.
Yeah. They did a good squash match for once, so I'll give them props for that one. Darby was in the back, or maybe it didn't really say where he was, but he had a tattoo gun, and you could hear the buzz of it going. He says that he was one that vouched for Brody King to be here in the first place in AEW, and yet Brody is trying to make his name off of Darby's success. Next week, he says that he won't make it alive out of Quake at the Lake, and then he shows you hear the tattoo gun cut off, and he shows his hand, and he tattooed the palm of his hand, and it says the coffin drops on Brody King. I thought this was actually a pretty good promo from Darby, another guy who hasn't been great on the mic before, like Jungle Boy, but kind of impressed me.
Nah, this is his element right here. These pre-tape vignettes that he cuts that are kind of weird, man. But Darby, he delivers the lines well. When it's an actual live promo, that's where he struggles. So if they just keep him doing promos like this, everything would be fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. If you remember Jeff Hardy's big, because these are two guys I kind of draw parallels to, obviously. If you remember Hardy's push in like 2008, 2009, because I listened back to the Freddie Prinze Jr. podcast, because Freddie Prinze was the one that wrote for Jeff Hardy and was the guy that pushed for him to be in the main event picture. Hardy's stuff was pre-tapes backstage, weird kind of elements going on, because those you can reshoot over and over and over until they get it right. Just don't put a live mic on the guy, and he could be somebody. I don't know about a world champion, but he's at least an upper level mid card guy who's okay on the mic.
Yeah, and we're building to a casket match. What do you think about that?
I think it'll be interesting. I just don't know how it's going to work with Brody and Darby.
Well, that first match we really enjoyed.
Yeah, but where do you go from that? Because he killed him last time.
I think Darby goes over. We start to build to a Malachi feud for All Out.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'll probably let Malachi go over when I'd rather see Darby, but to each
Malachi
their
needs
own.
it more. Malachi needs it more.
That's true. I'm not a big Malachi guy. Um, I've got my reasons, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
He's lost a lot of momentum since he came in and everybody creamed their pants when he came in and they literally did nothing with him after the Cody feud.
Hey man, Cody squashed him. We were there for it live.
Oh, I forgot about no. Malachi squashed him first though. Remember?
Yeah, but
In
then
literally 2 minutes.
King Cody had to get his win back.
Well, Cody Christ is he is the best in the world.
Oh god. Next up, we had Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage. There was a sign out there that said I played this on WWF No Mercy. I got a kick out of that. This was an okay match. Christian is still very good.
Matt
Matt
is not. Is not.
Matt has lost a step.
A lot of steps. He's done fell down the stairs, man. Matt is terrible. Come on.
It was okay. It wasn't Matt's worst match ever. It was a cool throwback.
Oh man, I don't want to see a throwback. Not from these guys. Matt's best days are way behind him.
When's Jeff coming back?
Is he coming back? I don't think he's coming back. I think that was it for him.
Well, then what's Matt gonna do? Because Matt still got the whole Hardy Boys get up. I don't know, man. They need one final run.
Oh no,
Give
they
them
don't.
Yes,
No,
they
don't.
do. They need a
They
year.
just got it.
No, we got one match or like three. One good match.
They suck. They suck
No,
together, man. They
I'm
look
not
out
hearing
of.
that.
No, they look it looked too like they were trying to be 22-year-old Matt and Jeff when they are 50-year-old men and they cannot do what they used to. It was sad. It was like a parody of the Hardy Boys. And Jeff, he's even more washed than Matt. He literally can do nothing but fall off high things. What great Jeff Hardy match have you seen lately, Michael?
Uh,
Go ahead.
the Young Bucks match was okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Maybe I got the
Everybody
rose
hated
tinted
that
glasses.
match.
Maybe I got the rose tinted glasses because it was the first time I ever saw him live. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Jeff is one of my favorites all time. I can't trash him.
I can. He sucks. 2022 Jeff sucks.
We're moving on.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
letting you slander my man Jeff Hardy like this. I'm not standing for it.
What else happened on this show, man?
After the match, Christian went to grab two chairs, or Christian picks up the win. He went to grab two chairs and concerto Matt, and then Luchasaurus' music hits. And as he starts to walk down, Jungle Boy comes from behind and tries to hit Christian with a chair. Christian ducks and flees as Jungle Boy stands tall over him. This will probably be a good match. I mean, I'm interested in the feud. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah. It's all right. It's one of their best views going into the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia was backstage.
Ugh.
He said he was the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Says he's going to slay the dragon one more time. Okay. Ethan Page was in the ring, and he asked why he's not on TV every week and why he's not getting the rightful things he deserves. The fans tried to get behind him, but then he digs them back down for not having his back anyways, and it's their fault he's not getting what he deserves, which I liked because the fans of AEW are too smart, and that's me included, that like the MJF thing should have turned him heel, but in favor turned him more face. So I'm glad that Ethan Page kind of cut that down.
Yeah.
But the Stokely thing was weird because like he just walked down and handed him a business card, and then they just walked off.
Well, yeah, what happened to American Top Team? Did they end that? Did something happen on
guess.
TV that I didn't watch?
No, unless I didn't watch it either, but I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. Scorpio Sky was nowhere to be found.
Hey, hold on. Let's hear out some complaints. Okay, we'll move on.
Hey, I like them doing something with Paige though. And Ethan Page. I got a preference for that. There's a lot of pages on this show. Ethan Page is one of the worst book guys in the company who deserves so much more. He could be one of the pillars. He's young. He can go in the ring. He's not a small guy. Ethan Page, very underrated in AEW. And them giving him the mic like this, I didn't hate it. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Him and Bivens together, like I don't think Ethan Page. I don't think Ethan Page needs another mouthpiece. He showed in this promo alone that he can do it himself.
Yeah. That's another thing I thought about too, was like he had Dan Lambert, so then you pull him away from that and put him with Stokely. It's like, man, he's one of the better promos in AEW, I feel like. Why?
Yeah.
You give these guys that need mouthpieces, or you give these guys that don't need mouthpieces a manager, and you give these guys that need somebody to talk for them nobody. So I don't know. In my mind, I felt like they should have done a squash match. They should have had him fight somebody random, beat him in like a minute or two, and then he's like visibly pissed off, and then he just runs down to the announce table. He's not like, hand me a mic. He goes and grabs it, comes back to the ring, and it's like, no, put the camera on me. And then he does that, and then maybe Bivens comes out, but it was just kind of awkward. He was already out there, and then Bivens ran out like the minute he started saying a word.
And Paige didn't even notice him until he got in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much more to add.
Yeah.
Anna Jay
Oh
sucked.
God, Jesus Christ! This was. Oh, we're not gonna talk about. Let's not talk
Nope.
about it. We don't have. We don't have to. We do
Nope.
not have to. Because this is where I started to check out of the show right here, man.
That's just all I gotta say. Anna Jay, all right in the ring. Don't hand her a mic. Next up, we had a dumpster match between the
This was
Gun
good.
Club and the Acclaimed.
This was good.
And I agree. This started hot, as it should, because it's a I say a hardcore match. It's a stipulation match.
It's a garbage match, literally.
Oh man. They took out Billy immediately, and then they started rapping, which I thought was a little awkward, but it was kind of funny, so I
No,
give it to
I
them.
like that, man, because I was hurt that they didn't rap on the way out, and then they made up for it by rapping immediately after taking Billy out.
Which I've honestly thought you were going to trash the rap because they
No,
made
no. Well, the rap itself, okay. There was a line in there that I did not particularly like, but it was well delivered, and I'll give them credit for that.
it was clever. It was at
Do
least a
do,
little funny.
do you want to mention the line, Micah,
I
for
don't
all
have it
our
wrote
listeners?
down here word for word, so I'm very sorry. Go search out the dumpster match because it was good and it was a throwback to old WWE. But he made some kind of joke about Vince McMahon and his allegations. I just didn't write it down word for word. I'm sorry.
Kind of co-host are you?
All right, well, I'm sorry I didn't get the specific line, but it was about Vince. But overall, this was a fun match. It wasn't supposed to take itself too serious, but it was a cool callback to obviously, I think, the most well known dumpster match, which was the New Age Outlaws versus Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack. So it's kind of cool to see Billy Gunn being that one and the Gun Club being this one. The Acclaim picked up the win. Uh, these guys went to war. They did the spot, they threw it off the stage, and it flipped over, which I don't know that they planned, and it was a little scary, but overall, I thought it was a fun match.
Yeah, it was good. The act when they flipped over the dumpster, I thought it was a better visual than what they did at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 14. Uh, because the entire dumpster flipped over. It looked brutal.
Yeah, and there was a picture floating around. You could see one of their legs,
Mm.
like, sticking out. I don't know, it kind of scared me. I mean, I'm sure they've got ways to protect them or whatever, but I don't know that I would have been on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, how do you protect yourself in that situation?
I don't know. They never showed the inside of it, so I'm sure they had like some, I don't know, maybe like some styrofoam or
You can still
just
get
some
hurt.
pads
You
in
can still
there.
get hurt
Yeah.
by doing that. I mean, it was no 2 foot drop from that stage.
Good ending if this is the end of the Gun Club Acclaim segment or, feud, whatever. I like the match. It was alright.
Yeah, I still like the Acclaim.
Yes, sir. And then we got to our main event for the, I guess, number one, or for the title shot at Quake at the Lake. The Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta versus the Jericho Appreciation Society's Chris Jericho.
Hmm.
I know you didn't watch it. We go
I
ahead
did
and get that
not.
out of the.
I did not. You have.
It was honestly okay. It did have a predictable end, but it was one of the best Jericho matches that I've seen in a good bit. Being honest, he didn't look half bad in the ring here.
I saw that he used the Lion Tamer.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the old school Lion Tamer who puts the knee in the guy's back. That always gets me nostalgic. But man, Wheeler Yuta, every time he's on screen, it's an instant skip for me. I'm sorry, Micah. I just can't. I can't with this guy. There's much better younger guys that they can put in this spot, but they choose to To keep on going all in with Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. I hate it. I hate these guys.
Not that I want to see him in a group, but you know who would have made a great sports entertainer? Ricky Starks. And I would much rather see Ricky Starks than Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta. Or Ethan Page. And then I think Garcia fits the Blackpool Combat Club better than Yuta.
Absolutely. And I don't want to see Garcia either, but I'd rather see Garcia. No, I don't know. I don't want to see any of them. So forget what I said. I don't want to see either one of those guys. I'd rather Starks or Page in that spot, in my personal opinion. I don't think the young guys that they should be going all in on is Garcia and Yuta. Those are not the. If that is the future of your company, Micah, your company's in trouble. And I'm just being honest.
I'm alright with Garcia. I know
Really?
you don't like him, but
You're all right with these guys leading your company into the future?
not Yuta. I'm not big on Yuta, man.
Garcia? You want to see him as one of the top guys?
If he put some more muscle on, maybe. He's not
That's
horrible,
a if,
though.
though. A main event guy you should be able to spot from a mile away. Garcia, Yuta, they're not that guy. They don't pass the airport test. They don't cut good promos. Every time they talk, it sounds scripted, and I know they're not scripted. These guys should not be your future. You're looking at another 900,000 fans for the next foreseeable future. These are your guys.
I mean, again, they're not who I would choose. There's worse, but you know my two guys right now. My two young guys that I'm vouching for, Starks and Hobbs.
Well, that
But
doesn't seem to be the direction of the company, Mike. It seems like Garcia and Yuta are going to be the guys. How they're pushing these guys. It seems like it. I don't know. I mean, we'll take a Starks. We'll take a Hobbs. We'll take them. I mean, if y'all don't want them, we'll take them off your hands. If you really want Yuta and Garcia in this spot over, the guys that actually should be in this spot.
I don't want them in the spot. I can at least see Tony Khan's vision with Garcia.
I don't.
I can see him being a young technical wrestler. Now, world
Dean
champion,
Malenko?
I don't
Dean
know.
Malenko? How many world championships Dean Malenko won? Micah?
But Yuta,
Just the
I
name,
don't
Yuta.
know.
Come on. That's never going to get. Do people like Yuta? Does he get a good reaction when he comes out? Because I generally do not watch his matches.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. I can tell you. If I see Yuta come out, I'm like, oh, that's Wheeler Yuta. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on.
Like, I'm not, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta. Like, Ricky Starks come out, I'm like, oh, yes, it's Ricky Starks. Let me see what he's doing. Let me tune in.
Okay, so I watch Dynamite not live. I watch it after the fact, hours later. And I don't skip much on Dynamite unless it's a women's segment. And I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like the way the women are portrayed in AEW. The booking has been bad, so I skip those segments. And every time I see Yuta or Daniel Garcia, I skip. I just can't watch these guys. I skip the main event. I did not want to watch Yuta. He's terrible, man. Maybe he's good in the ring. Okay, who cares? Make me care about Yuta. I just don't. Put a mic in his hand. See what he does. He can't do it. He can't cut a promo. And look how he looks, man. Look how he looks. Look. That's the guy you should be building your company around.
No, I don't think so.
Well, Booker of the Year. Booker of the Year thinks so.
Anyways, what would you rate this Dynamite?
This was boring. This is I'm giving it a 4, man. I just I didn't
Mm,
like this show. It was kind of boring. The
4 though?
Lethal Cassidy, it was a good match, but I just don't like Cassidy. I didn't watch the main event. I skipped the women's tag match, so there really wasn't a lot on this show that I liked.
I mean, the Lethal stuff was okay. I like seeing Adam Cole. The Christian Jungle Boy stuff was alright, including that match. It was cool seeing Hobbs. Darby cut an alright promo.
The main event soured me. That's probably why I gave it such a low score.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right.
There was some stuff I was interested in, but for the majority, I'm sick of a lot of things that are going on this show, and even the things I do like the Hobbs stuff, I just feel like could be done better. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh, man. I don't
Did
know.
they announce a Jericho Moxley match in the future? Like, did they give it a date?
Yeah, it's next week.
Is it next
Quake of the
week?
Lake.
So what's happening at the pay per view? Is CM Punk gonna be ready to go?
From what I heard this past week, Punk may not be ready until Full Gear.
No. What? Why would they put it? Why didn't they just strip him of the title?
Punk didn't want the interim title. Tony wanted him to keep it.
So what are we doing for All Out with Moxley? Wouldn't the Jericho feud? Wouldn't that make more sense to stretch that out to All Out?
Oh God,
Uh,
don't give him another idea. I'm sure they'll have some run in next week. No, I don't know. Maybe the rumors are not true and Punk comes out next week and does the whole John Cena face down that they did in 2011. That's what I hope would happen. Cause good God, I'm sick of Moxley's interim run. And I'm so sick of so many things on this show.
his
Um,
his run wouldn't be so bad if he wouldn't teaming with Yuta or wrestling unknown guys,
Mance Warner.
Mance Warner and Roosh. It wouldn't be so bad if that didn't happen, but he just hasn't been treated like a world champion. And you know AEW doesn't do DQ finishes. So how do they get out of this? How do they get out of the Moxley
Ah,
Jericho match?
we're gonna have to wait and see. You'll have to tune in next week on AEW Dynamite, and you're gonna have to tune in next week on the Scoop Slam podcast because I have no idea.
It's unpredictable, I say. My first
Yeah?
reaction is I think Jericho goes over. You
No,
don't think
no
so?
way Jericho
Why
goes
not?
over on Mox.
Why not? You don't think a Jericho Punk match would be a better feud than Moxley versus Punk?
I mean, it gives you a babyface heel
Yes,
interaction, I guess.
definitely so. And they have history. Now, I don't like when they
You know,
reference the past like that, but
at this point, I almost can't bet against Jericho because every time I think he's gonna lose, he still wins. You know what? I'm all in. Jericho's the interim world champ next week. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
well, if it happens, we gotta play the footage if it happens.
Jesus.
We we gotta keep this clip. Keep this clip, and we'll play it again next week if it happens.
Well,
Because,
we can only find out.
hey man, I would Jericho and Punk would be it would be an entertaining feud.
I mean, they're both good on the mic. I really hate the Jericho stuff right now, so I almost don't want to see Punk involved with it.
Yeah, if you're involved in a Jericho feud, it gets old real fast.
Maybe Punk could keep it fresh. I don't know, man. Well, we've spent enough time on Dynamite because, good God, we harped on the Bucks for 30 minutes. But, anyways,
Not
6 for me for Dynamite. Just okay.
yeah, not a good show. Not a good show.
Next up, we'll go to WWE Friday Night
Oh, here
SmackDown,
we go.
the August 5th edition. We opened up with a few different small segments like Roman and the Bloodline pulling into the arena, McAfee poking fun at Corbin on the replay of their match. We pan to the back where a group of wrestlers is laughing at the live cast of SmackDown to Corbin's dismay, and then Ricochet challenges Corbin to a match to open the show.
I like that they gave McAfee that pointer thing. I thought that was really good, and he
It was
made
funny.
yeah he made it entertaining too.
It was okay.
I thought Ricochet showed a lot of personality on the mic.
I will agree with you there. He kind of impressed me because everything I've ever heard about him is he can go, but the red light comes on and he
Yeah,
freezes.
but his stuff. Well, we'll get to it when we get to the match. But yeah, Ricochet he did well in the promo backstage, and McAfee is still one of the most over guys on the show.
Well, like you said, we then had the match: Happy Corbin versus Ricochet. I can't stand Baron Corbin, and Ricochet's a great wrestler, but this just did not have much to interest me. I watched it. I mean, there was a huge back body drop from Corbin, uh, but nothing of really any importance. It went a little too long to me. McAfee ended up distracting Corbin as he was on the top rope. Ricochet picked up the win with a big shooting star press that I thought looked great.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Uh, Not much else to say.
Well, okay, come on. This was probably match of the night. You're dogging it for no reason. Ricochet,
Not my
Rick,
match tonight.
what? Okay, all right, we'll get
Mm-mm.
to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But Ricochet, seeing Ricochet in the ring, it makes you like he does the high flying stuff. Probably he's top three in the world at that, right? It's got to be.
I would say I'd
I
give him that
think.
prop.
I think what's the guy from AEW? What's his name? The high flyer, young guy that always gets hurt in top flight.
Dante.
Dante should take lessons from Ricochet on how to land these moves a little safer because isn't he hurt again?
Uh, I think he did get hurt in that Sammy match. I don't remember what it was, but maybe he got a sprain or something.
Man, he needs to hit up Ricochet, man. But yeah, Corbin, you dog him, and he's boring. Yes, he is. But the guy, he's okay in the ring. He's maybe if he had different gear
That's one. Yeah.
and dropped the happy stuff. Like, why do they still call him Happy Corbin?
Beats me.
And it it seems like they're building up to a second match with McAfee and Corbin too.
But well, would you have it at Clash of the Castle? You think?
Why not? Bolster up the undercard. McAfee, yeah. People like McAfee, man.
Well, we'll see how the future unfolds. But for now, okay match. But next up, we had Sami Zayn in the back with the Usos, and he congratulated them on their SummerSlam win, and he asked about Paul Heyman's condition, saying that the bump looked pretty rough. Which this this whole thing I enjoyed. It was funny.
The second one was a lot funnier, but I don't know if we're gonna cover that. But I just want to mention, like he sounded so hurt when he they didn't let when Sammy when they didn't let Sammy go in the room to see Roman, and he just let out like a very sad my dog, and I lost it, man.
No, I wrote all of them down because they were
Okay.
so funny to me. Um, and in this one, like you said, he asked to speak with Roman, but the Usos just kind of blow him off. And they're like, "Well, we'll text you later about it or whatever."
I like this. I like the show line storyline in that.
Yeah, it. I don't know why, because normally I wouldn't want Roman involved with this kind of stuff, but something about, I guess it's maybe the way Sammy pulls it off. It cracks me up. Um, After this, they ran a classic SmackDown moment, and I don't know if they've been doing that for a long time or something, but I thought this was cool. I thought they should do it every week.
They pull it
Did you
out
see this?
periodically. Yeah. They pull it out periodically. They do stuff
No.
like that. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was neat.
Yeah, it was good.
It was when Stone Cold blew up the DX Express. I mean, it's just something else to add to the show, fill time, but I
I,
would rather have that than a million replays of SummerSlam.
yeah, it's good to reference the history of the company for newer fans.
Yeah. Now, next up, now this was my match of the night. Shinsuke Nakamura versus
Oh
Ludwig Kaiser.
man, you like
Oh,
this? Come
man,
on.
this is a good match.
It was alright.
And if Shinsuke wins, he gets the challenge for that Intercontinental Championship next week. I don't love that they're doing it next week. Maybe there will be a blow off or something, but I would have liked to have seen this on Clash at the Castle,
Yeah.
especially since the Intercontinental title has not been defended on pay per view in like almost 2 years. But the feud is interesting. This is a good technical wrestling match. Even though the result was predictable, I still enjoyed it. Nakamura obviously picked up the win, and I'm excited to see Nakamura versus Gunther.
It's gonna be they're gonna beat each other up. It's gonna be a hard hitting match.
Oh yeah, it'll be enjoyable.
But can we just acknowledge that Shinsuke probably has the best theme song in all of WWE?
It's between him. I really like Roman's
Roman's is good, yeah.
and Asuka's.
Okay, yeah. All right, that's valid. That's a good top three. Finn Balor's when he before the Judgment Day. He had a
Even
good
the
theme.
Judgment Day theme is good too.
Okay, yeah, Judgment Day theme is heat. I'm glad they kept that that song.
Yeah. Next up we had Sami Zayn was again backstage with the Usos. He come back to see, he was like, maybe there's some bad cell reception or something. And he was just kind of ill that they hadn't texted him. The Usos blew him off again and said, well, our wise man isn't here tonight, so we need someone to handle his duties. So they asked him to run down to the production truck and make sure everything in terms of Roman's presentation is taken care of. Sammy, he was a little reluctant here, but he went and did it, and the Usos kind of got a tickle out of it, so it was all right.
It was hilarious. I like that one of the Usos like didn't look at Sammy or even acknowledge his presence throughout the whole entire exchange.
Yeah,
And then
one
he
of them was
just
pissed.
yeah, he just didn't even acknowledge him, man.
All right, so next up, Liv Morgan came down to the
Oh
ring,
God.
and she tried to explain the SummerSlam finish, but the crowd was very much like split down the middle, bad, but you could definitely hear the boos more than the cheers. Like there was somebody in the front row like screaming at her that she tapped out or whatever.
Yeah.
She said she was feeling a lot of emotions in this moment. None of those were charisma though.
She cussed. She cussed.
She did. It got blurred out too. She couldn't get the Brock treatment.
You think that was on the fly or
Probably. I heard that I heard that Triple H has taken some of the scriptedness away.
the commentators okay, so she looked rattled by the reaction. She didn't know like she knew how to handle that. And
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer, what was it, Kayla? Kayla Braxton looked
Yes.
very irritated too. But what did they expect, man? They booked her like a geek in the match, and then she lost. She lost the match in the eyes of the
Yeah.
fans. What did they expect to happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
This exact thing happened to Bailey when she was being booked as a babyface. Like the crowd turned on her too. You can't book these people. Her whole gimmick can't be I've dreamed about this and I deserve this, and it's always been uh, this is always what I wanted to do. Man, the fans always gonna turn on that. Who can pull that off? Has anybody ever pulled that off?
maybe Sean, but I mean, they eventually turned on
They
him
turned
too.
on him too. Yes, man. It's just it's never worked. What they expect?
The problem is, and I think this often is lost on a lot of people, but it's just a subconscious thing you can't help. Getting pinned and tapping out has a different feeling.
Yeah.
And her tapping out made her look weaker than her being able to pin Ronda. Like, that's just subconsciously in your mind. They gave up. The other person just got beat down so much that they physically cannot kick out. That doesn't mean they gave up. They just couldn't take it anymore.
And I don't know if it was kind of botched. Maybe she was supposed to tap out like right at the 3 count, but she jumped the gun and tapped out like two. So I mean, Ronda should have been the winner. I don't know.
The replay really foiled it because before I was like, oh, okay, same time finish. But when they slow mode it, nah, Liv tapped before the three came down. So, like, it's just an awkward situation, man. Sonya Deville came down and interrupted, and I guess tried to save it or something. But even she was like in denial that Liv was still the champ and saying that she was glad to see that Ronda beat her down, and she claimed she was going to win the women's gauntlet match and then rip Liv a new one at Clash at the Castle. But nah, I totally agree. The fans are lost on this, and if they don't do something quick, I don't know that Liv's going to recover.
They turned her heel in this segment, whether they like it or not.
Hey man, maybe a heel Liv Morgan be better than a babyface.
Man, we got to have some baby faces on the show.
Man, all their champions are heels, aren't they? Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't think about that. Well, the aforementioned women's gauntlet match was next,
Ooh,
and
did you watch this?
hmm, hmm, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
dogs needed to go out. Uh,
Yeah. I had to cook dinner and my laundry needed to be done.
yeah, there's a lot of
I,
other things going on.
I tuned in for the finish though. I did watch the finish. It looked
Yes, I
it
did
looked kind of
too.
sluggish. I don't know. Like Raquel, I, it felt sloppy. It felt real sloppy.
It was flat,
Yeah,
very bad.
it felt like Raquel was going for the Roddy Piper Bret Hart finish. You know where they kick their feet up onto the turnbuckle and then like reverse the sleeper hold. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about? It felt like
Yep.
that, but she kind of like half committed to it, and it looked real sloppy. And then, how did the pin happen? How did Shayna pin Raquel?
I
It looked weird.
I
No,
don't remember at
it looked
all.
weird, man. I don't know. This match, I don't know if the whole match was like this, but if it was, I'm glad that I skipped it.
I remember like thinking this is odd, the sleeper spot, because I thought she was gonna tap and then she didn't, and then so I remember that, but Yeah, I definitely I
Maybe it
get what you
was
mean.
maybe it was booked like that because they wanted to add to the fact that she's been in the ring for so long. Raquel, I mean. So she looked
Yeah.
gassed towards the end. Maybe that was on purpose, I guess.
Uh, beats me, but
Hey, but Triple H in Power, I mean, we should have seen that Baszler was going to get a little more of a push. But she really has been on ice since her feud with Becky like 2 years ago, before the pandemic started.
yeah, and she was a long time NXT champion, wasn't she?
She was. She was booked like a monster when she came up. But
Well,
yeah, it cool.
might see the return of that, but yeah, Shayna Baszler picked up the win here. The SmackDown Women's division is so weak. I almost would have rather seen Bayley and them plugged on this show too,
They need it.
but we'll see where it goes from here. So, next up we got Sami Zayn backstage with Usos. He says he went to the production truck and tied up all the loose ends, and he's like, "All right, well, now I need to check on my tribal chief," and they still deny him, and he starts getting upset and kind of drawing back at him, like you said, my dog. But then Jay just, or I don't know, man. I can't really tell them apart, to be honest with you. I think it was
It was
Jay.
Jay. It was Jay.
Okay. He unleashed on him, saying that they got two titles. Roman's got two titles, and he needs to start pulling his own weight around here as the rest of them have gold, and he needs to find some, or else he's out of his position as honorary Oos. So,
I felt bad for
uh,
Sammy, man.
I know.
If they're turning them babyface, they're doing a good job of that. Cause,
Yeah.
bro, I felt sad for Sammy in that situation. Like they couldn't have let him talk to Roman for like 2 minutes.
Is he still hurt?
I don't know. He's a great character to have. Maybe they just want him in this type of situations. I don't know. He hasn't wrestled in a while. Neither is Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Remember Kevin Owens came back last week?
Oh yeah, he wasn't even on
He
Raw.
wasn't on Raw. No. What's going on with these
Hmm.
guys?
Maybe they're getting repackaged for something bigger. Who?
I
I don't have a clue.
I like it though. I like these guys. Maybe Sammy and Kevin Owens can team up.
I mean, it added a little strength to their tag division, that's for sure.
They could take the titles off the Usos.
You got a bright idea there.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it either. I mean, you can't have them. I guess you could have them feud with Roman, but
It
he doesn't
ain't like
beat
he gonna
Roman.
win.
No, he doesn't beat Roman.
No. I did see something on Twitter that was like they should have Sammy win the 24/7 title and be like, look. um, but yeah, now that you mention it, him and Kevin Owens as a tag team versus the Usos, and they're the ones to take the belts off of them. I'm all right with it.
That'd probably be a great match too.
Yeah. Uh, Now I'm gonna fly through these next few. Viking Raiders came out and fought some jobbers. This is an easy squash match. And then Kofi Kingston came out from behind after the match with a kendo stick, uh, and ran him out the ring. Viking Raiders picked up the win. Then we go to commercial break, and then we come back, and Kofi Kingston is fighting Eric in the middle of the ring. And Cole vouched and said that this was made during the commercial break. Uh, yeah, Kofi won with a roll up, stole a victory. I kind of skimmed through it.
Well, I did watch this actually. I watched this whole thing. The Viking Raiders offense, they got some innovative stuff in their bag. Like I don't know if you actually watched the squash match, but they did a couple cool things. Um, them protecting Kofi is a good thing in my opinion because the man is a former WWE champion. Um, We did see a scoop slam. We saw a scoop slam. We got to add that to the tally for the year.
You're absolutely right. We got 3 on the year now.
3 on the year. Yeah. They didn't make it a point as to call them the new vicious Viking Raiders like they have been for a while now, which is it's telling, very telling. Yeah, it was there. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Got
the tea started to boil over on the stove, and
Oh man, come on. It wasn't that bad.
I don't really care for this feud anymore, to be honest with you. But
I like Kofi and Viking Raiders are okay.
I like Kofi. I just need a reason to be interested in the Viking Raiders, I guess. But
They got some innovative
speaking
stuff. They got some innovative stuff.
speaking of a reason to be interested in tag teams,
Mm.
they announced the women's tag team tournament will start next week on Raw next Monday.
How? How? They
I,
have three
I
teams.
don't know.
They have three teams, man. What are they gonna do? Are we bringing up people from NXT? That has to be. That has to be what they do, right?
Who are their teams right now? Oh my
I'm
God.
trying to think. Uh, Natty
Io Sky
and
and Dakota Kai.
okay. Natty and who was she teaming with? Was she teaming with Shayna?
Tamina?
Nah, that ended a while ago. I think she was teaming with Shayna, but she can't do that now. Uh, Nikki
Alexa and
Ash.
Asuka, maybe?
Yeah, okay. Nikki Ash and
Dewdrop?
okay, all right. That's okay. Um, bro, you gotta bring up somebody from NXT, right?
Sasha and
Well,
Naomi,
we
if they
don't know
actually
that
have
yet.
them.
We don't know that yet. We don't. But it's looking like that is the reason they announced this tournament. Well, NXT has their own set of women's tag championships. Why can't I mean they could like have those girls come up for a one off, right?
I mean, I imagine so, but I don't know, man. I would have just rather had this retired.
Oh, dang,
They
man.
just don't have the division for it, man.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of teams. But there's a new focus on women's wrestling. If you haven't, I mean, look at the shows from this week: Raw and SmackDown. It's mostly women's segments, right?
I mean, yeah, I just don't.
Maybe it's a new focus in the company. I don't know, man. We'll give some time.
I'm I'm fine with that. It's just weird that I don't know, man. They just don't have a division. And it's weird that they even brought him back in the first place. They really I don't think anybody would have been upset if they retired it with no.
I legit forgot that this was like they had a tag championship for the women. I forgot. You think this has anything to do with the trios tournament going on in AEW?
No, I don't think
Oh, you don't
so.
think so?
Here is the Raw and SmackDown list of women. So this isn't including anybody on NXT. So Raw, we have Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch is out injured. Bianca Belair is the women's champion. Carmella, Dana Brooke, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Liv Morgan was on Raw. Now she's on SmackDown, but she's the champion. Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley, and Tamina. But I don't even know if Rhea's cleared, technically. SmackDown has Aaliyah, Charlotte Flair, who's still on hiatus, Lacey Evans, Naomi, who is still listed but not
Mm.
or her status is in limbo with the company. Natalia, Raquel Rodriguez, Ronda Rousey, definitely won't be her. Sasha Banks, who is still listed, Shayna Baszler, who is the challenger for Liv Morgan, Shotzi, Sonya Deville, and Xia Li, which obviously that didn't include Bailey or her stable. So there's a team there. Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Maybe you put Dana Brooke and Carmella together.
Yeah, I mean, the division it's not small. They could have this women's tag division. They could, as long as you have them float between shows.
Yeah, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It gives the other women something to do, and there is an audience out there that loves women's wrestling. Like my dad's a big women's wrestling fan, and I always wonder like why. That is so. It's just not for me. They look like they're moving in quicksand, most of them.
There's your upper echelon, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see how it plays out next week. So we'll come back with our thoughts then. But for now, let's move to probably the most interesting segment of the week. Roman Reigns makes his emphatic entrance with Bloodline, and the crowd went wild. Nobody can even touch them right now. Like nobody's on their level. WWE, AEW, I don't care. They're stars. I mean, that's just how it is. They had a cool graphic. I'll give them props for the CGI being good in this. They had that little tree thing that formed. Now
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Roman says that they had to come back to SmackDown to run down their accomplishments, since obviously Roman was a SmackDown mainstay before he won the WWE title. He says that he absolutely despises Brock Lesnar, but he has gained his respect. You got pizza rolls going off.
Oh man, it's my chicken cordon bleu.
Not what I was expecting.
Hey man, the air fryer is acknowledging Roman. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. And shoot, I lost my space.
Roman is running down his accomplishments, and you said you liked the graphic he did, and
Yeah. Okay. So Roman starts talking about how he hates Brock, but he has gained respect for him.
whoa, hold up! Did you notice that they said hate? Like that was always a no word. Like,
Oh, really?
they never really said hate. They say like despise or strongly dislike. They never used the word hate until now. And I think Roman said hospital, or was it the Usos
He
that
did
said
say
hospital?
hospital.
Oh, okay. That was a little. A lot of the stuff in the show, it took me by surprise because being a fan for so long and not hearing certain words, and then when you suddenly hear it again, you really, really notice it. Like, I think it was a match Michael Cole. He didn't say WWE Universe, which he would hammer into your head every show, the term WWE Universe. He said WWE fans. And I'm like, whoa, hold up now. Let me rewind that. Did he actually say that? That was a slip up? No. This is the verbiage now. They're just going to stop with all the Vinceisms. And maybe it finally set in this show with the debut we're going to see later, or we're going to talk about later, and the fact that they mention stuff that they never actually say on the show. It set in that Vince is done, man. This is a whole new vision now. This is a
It's
whole different.
certainly a new era.
This is a different era. Finally, this is it's something to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, it's intriguing to say the least.
The most intrigue I've had since probably they split up the rosters in 2016.
Yeah. So then, as Roman begins to talk about Heyman, which I think is when the hospital reference came in, Drew McIntyre interrupt, and he came out here and called him the tribal queef, which I, I don't know, man. It was PG, and I was not expecting that one. You could hear that joke fly over their heads of the crowd, like
Yeah,
they
it did.
just.
It did.
Oh, I love Drew, man. He's great.
He's growing on me a lot, man. I was a fan of him, but I wouldn't hate if he took the title off Roman at at the Castle.
I wouldn't either.
He's built up enough.
Yeah,
He's probably one of the only credible guys they have. And I
yeah.
know we didn't talk about that match he had last week because our audio kind of got cut. But Sheamus and him had a probably one of the best TV matches of the year in WWE.
It was really
Like,
good.
they went 30 minutes. And they beat the heck out of each other.
New leadership.
Leadership. There you go.
Well, he said that he had heard enough from Roman and his lackeys, and he just can't wait to put his hands on him and win that title back that is his. You know, kind of the stuff he's been saying about being a fighting champion, being there for the company and the brand and stuff like that. And he starts to walk down to the ring as Roman kind of, has a look on his face like, yeah, you dare get in the ring with the three of us. And then the lights kind of cut out and some music came on. And all of a sudden the screen went black and white. And you see a figure standing at the end of the entranceway where the Titantron is. And you can't really make out who it is. And then all of a sudden, Drew is blindsided by somebody. I mean, he gets the dog piss beat out of him. We couldn't see him for forever. And after he slings Drew into the stairs, he lifts his head up. And Karrion Kross has returned to WWE with hair. And Scarlett was the figure at the end of the entranceway. So she comes down and places an hourglass in the ring as Roman is a little taken aback, I guess. And we close the show with a whole lot of confusion and a giant return and interesting stories going into Clash at the Castle.
The crowd did not know who that was.
I mean, he looks completely different.
Yeah, but when he was there, he really didn't get a reaction either. I like what they did here though, because if you're gonna debut a guy, debut him on top, and people are gonna take him as a top guy. So they did right there. Karrion Kross, is he really that guy? Is he the guy that we really can we see him being a main event player? I mean, his wife is that that's the money in the act, really.
He's got a good look. Like,
Okay.
I've never seen his in-ring work, but
His interest is cool,
yeah.
but
I don't know. I've never seen him before. He's intriguing to me. The character's interesting.
I, man, I really did not like him in NXT, so I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a big fan all of a sudden. I'm sure it'll be different now that Scarlett is with him on the main roster. He'll be treated as a big deal, but I could not care less about Cross, man.
I wonder if they're gonna make this a triple threat at Clash at the Castle.
No.
Well, hold on.
You can't do that to Drew.
And I wonder if they're gonna let Drew win the belt, but by pinning Cross. That way Roman still never lost the belts, technically, as he can have that argument. That way you can get the championship off of him, have a fighting champion. Roman loses no heat. Cross, I mean, sure he loses, but he loses to Drew and Roman.
Yeah, but you can't bring a guy in and then let him lose a month in like that. That's not how you build stars.
I mean, you're right.
Especially taking the pin. You can't do that. I mean, I don't like Cross at all, but if you do that, you might as well release him again, man.
I don't know. I mean, I think it could be done in a way that Mike could protect him. I mean, I don't know. Who would you rather protect?
You let Drew beat Roman 1-on-1. And you build up to another. You let Roman have a couple months off. You build up to another rematch. Roman goes over, and then we build up to the Cody versus Roman feud.
But then what do you do with Cross? Because Cross just beat up Drew. He's gonna have to come at a crossroads with Drew eventually, and he's gonna have to lose.
Okay. Maybe you pivot. Maybe you just brought him in to make a big statement day one, but you don't actually have a full blown feud between Drew and Cross.
We shall see. I have no idea where they're going with this.
I would be worried if I'm Theory, man.
Oh man,
I would be very worried.
dude took a week off from the company and just.
Imagine if Cross beats him for the Money in the Bank.
Ouch! I didn't think about that.
It could happen. I don't know.
It's not out of the
We've seen it happen
cards.
before. We've seen it happen before.
Nah, they can't squash
Miz,
Theory like that.
I don't know, man. They were going all in on Otis a few years ago, and then Miz literally, Otis literally lost his Money in the Bank contract to the Miz. So I mean, it's happened before.
Well, all we could do is watch, I guess. Poor Theory, man. A week off television, and he ain't even factored into nothing anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He was feuding with the whole roster.
Yeah.
And now it's like
Nobody even mentioned him. I don't know. We'll see.
he's waiting on his dad to come back, Johnny Gargano.
Oh no. Well, they're in Cleveland for Raw.
Oh man. You ready for that?
We're gonna get to see Johnny wrestling. I wouldn't doubt it. Not one bit.
Oh man. The crowd will go
Mild.
bananas for Johnny. Oh, the sold out arena will go insane for old Johnny Gargano. 5'6" Johnny Gargano. Bro, remember we walked past him, we didn't know who he was during the convention.
No, you ain't gotta do him like that. He's a little swole.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, but man, come on now, Johnny Gargano. Hopefully he stays going.
Well, we'll find out next Monday, I guess. If there was going to be a time to debut him, I don't think there would be a better one right now.
See that tweet Bray Wyatt sent out?
Today?
Yeah, he was referencing like every single company in this tweet.
It was kind of cryptic from what I read, but I didn't.
You think he's on his way back?
You have it pulled up? Or you want me to read it?
Yeah. I got it.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead.
Alright, it's from the Wyndham Rotunda. Wrestling is not a love story. It's a fairy tale for... Oh my God. Maybe you should read this. What is that word? I don't know that word.
Hold on.
I'm about to send you a screenshot.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Okay. Wrestling is not a love story.
Masochist.
Yes,
it's masochist.
You're right.
Oh, God damn. I'm sorry, man. I swear I can read everybody. Go ahead. You just
okay.
you just
I'll take that. Wrestling is not a love story. It's a fairy tale for masochists, a comedy for people who criticize punchlines, a fantasy most can't understand, a spectacle no one can deny. Lines are blurred, heroes are villains, budgets are cut, business is business. But it can also be a land where dead men walk, where honor makes you elite, where demons run for office, and a rock bottom is a reason to rejoice. Woo! It is an escape, a reason to point the blame at anyone but yourself for 2 to 3 hours, an excuse to be a kid again, and nothing matters except the moment we are in. Wrestling is not a love story, it's much more. It's hope. In a world surrounded by hate, greed, and violence, a world where closure may never come, we all know a place that has hot and cold hope on tap, for better or for worse. What does that even mean?
I don't know, man. But if AEW, if he was gonna sign with AEW, it would have happened by now, right?
That's what I would think.
Unless Tony Khan signed him already and he's keeping him on ice like he did Claudio. Which I guess, that could be a possibility.
I mean, maybe, but where would you debut him?
Where does he fit in? Yeah, where does he fit into the current roster? They have so many guys.
And some of these are oddly capitalized. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Like fairy tale is capitalized.
What's
Dead
that represent?
is capitalized. Honor and elite is capitalized. rock and rock bottom is capitalized. And then that's pretty much it. That's odd. Now, obviously, like the first line of every sentence is capitalized, but what's that? FTDHER?
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we'll.
That's the biggest free agent out there.
Somebody said in the comments the references that they see. This is at Bear4Hype. Wrestling is not a love story. Cody. Fairy tale for masochist. Champa. Lines are blurred. MJF. Maybe. Budgets are cut. Releases. Land where dead men walk. Malachi. That could also just be Undertaker. Honor makes you elite.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, AEW. Demons run for office. This person said Glenn Jacobs, but I thought Vince McMahon. And then the rock
I guess
bottom.
Glenn Jacobs does make sense though.
I mean, you got a point.
He is the devil's favorite demon. I don't know, man. How do we get on this?
I don't know,
I think
man.
I brought this up. I think I brought this up.
Well,
what's your rating for SmackDown?
5.7.
That sounds fair. I'll give it a 6.1. 6.1.
Okay. I mean, the last segment was good. The Shinsuke stuff was good. And the Sami Zayn stuff was good. But other than that,
It was it
dipped a little in the middle.
didn't drag. It didn't drag, you know. Like it was an easy watch.
I mean, I guess. It wasn't.
And if you skip the gauntlet match, it's an easy watch.
Oh, man. What was your match of the week, you think?
Probably that first triple threat match.
Yeah, that's what I
with
was thinking.
AJ winning. Yeah, that was really good.
That or the dumpster match. And the dumpster match wasn't even great. It was just fun to watch.
It was pretty fun, and the aftermath was pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up between those. You can't go wrong with either of those. I could see myself going back and watching those matches.
Agreed. I think we're pretty unanimous on this one. Show of the week was Raw.
Dang.
Match of the week, well, I might be.
Wow.
Well, I was gonna say it might be 2 weeks in a row, but we didn't get to finish the last episode, or we didn't get to upload that last episode. But
we agree with almost everything. We need to get somebody on here that will disagree with us.
Well, we disagree with the majority, I would say. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But we'll close up here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Scoop Slam podcast. We'll be back next week with Battle of the Belts, Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, as always. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Scoop Slam Pod. We're working on a YouTube and potentially a TikTok for short clips. So we'll see what the future holds. But as for this episode, I'm Micah. He's Ryan. Signing off and hope you have a good rest of your day.